Howard from the Perdomo Cigar Studios on the Black Stage in Indian Trail, North Carolina, and broadcasting from the Alec Bradley Lone Star Studios of Azle, Texas. Welcome to Primetime Special Edition 159. Tonight, we commence year 8 of Special Edition and celebrate our 7-year anniversary. And in the process, we do our first Cigar Draft show. And as always, Primetime Special Edition is brought to you by Perdomo Cigars. Awarded Nicaraguan Cigar of the Year in 2014 by Cigar Journal, the Perdomo 20th anniversary brand has consistently earned the highest scores in the industry and is a top seller in humidors around the world. The Perdomo 20th anniversary brand requires tobacco has been carefully hand selected and are well aged for a minimum of 8 years. The Perdomo 20th anniversary is offered in 3 distinct wrappers: a smooth, creamy Ecuadorian Connecticut, a rich, earthy Cuban seed Nicaraguan sun-grown, and a dark, oily Cuban seed Nicaraguan Maduro. Combining these beautifully bourbon barrel-aged wrappers with thick, high priming binder and filler tobaccos gives each blend a balanced complexity with layers of rich flavors and smooth, elegant aromas. Perdomo Cigars is a family-owned and operated company headquartered in Miami, Florida, with manufacturing and agricultural facilities in Esteli, Nicaragua. Perdomo's highly acclaimed cigar brands include the Perdomo 30th Anniversary, Perdomo Double Aged 12-Year Vintage, Perdomo 20th Anniversary, Perdomo Reserve 10th Anniversary line, Perdomo Habano Bourbon Barrel Aged, Perdomo Lot 23, Perdomo Inenso 70, and many more. For great tasting notes and pairing information, check out Perdomo's website at perdomocigars.com. And of course, we always want to mention JRE Tobacco. The authentic Corojo leaf is one of the most robust and flavorful tobacco leaves out there. During the Golden Age of cigars, Cuba was a leaf of choice to make some of the world's greatest cigars. Because it is one of the most challenging ones to cultivate, it fell out of favor by the 1990s. In the Jamastran Valley in Honduras, Julio Aroa took on the challenge of growing Corojo from the original seeds, and in 2000, he successfully reintroduced authentic Corojo back to the market. With over 50 years' experience in the tobacco business, from growing and curing tobacco to cigar production, the Jerry Tobacco Farm has been able to continue to deliver products to market with authentic Corojo. Now, with Jerry Tobacco, who still brought their very own brand to market, each containing that authentic Corojo leaf. Aladino is available in a wide variety of blends, including the latest release, the Aladino Fumanoche, each representing the golden age of cigars from 1947 to 1961. They're available at your local retailer. Be sure to ask for Jerry Tobacco, a legacy that is tasted in every drawer. And of course, we want to mention Altadis USA. Elevate your humidor with Altadis USA cigars. Explore top-rated classics like the H. Upman Banker Day Trader, Trinidad Espiritu Series Number 1, the Monte Cristo 1935 Anniversary Edición Diamante, and the Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua Sonata, all boasting a stellar 93 rating from Cigar Aficionado. Light up, relax, and savor every puff of excellence. And finally, by Drew Estate. Dark, bold, and unapologetic Blackened Cigars M81 by Drew Estate is an intense journey into the uncharted, deepest, and darkest, and heaviest depths of Maduro tobacco. This is a masterpiece collaboration between Metallica's James Hetfield, Sweet Amber Distilling's Rob Dietrich, and Drew Estate's Jonathan Drew. The all Maduro Blackened Cigars M81 by Drew Estate is rich and powerful, but beautifully balanced, offering tantalizing notes of leather, chocolate, and espresso that's perfect for life celebrations and times of reflection. You can find the M81 at your Drew Diplomat retailer. And remember, all the live streaming for the Primetime Network of shows, as well as the California studios for the Thursday Primetime Smell, sponsored exclusively by Drew Estate. Well, welcome, everybody. This is Primetime Special Edition 159. Today is Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. Will Cooper, I am in the Perdomo Cigar Studios here in Indian Trail, North Carolina, on the Black Stage. And really glad to kind of be reunited with my good friend and colleague, Mr. El Oso Fumar himself, from the Alec Bradley Lone Star Studios in Azle, Texas, Mr. Bear Duplessis.
Oh, thank you very much, Coop. Yay.
7 years.
Welcome back. 7 years, man. 7 years. Welcome back to the show. It's been a long time. I feel like we have to do this. We have to reintroduce ourselves.
Well, we haven't done we actually haven't done a Tuesday show since before PCA. We did that one special edition on Thursday, and I knew I wanted to get that in because I knew we were going to have a lot of this stuff happening. You had some stuff going on your end. I had some stuff going on my end. I knew it was going to be a rough few weeks, so I'm glad we got that one in. Yeah.
It's gosh, it has been a lot since Tuesday, but yeah, man, I've really enjoyed the time. 7 years, my God. How have you put up with me for so
How
long?
have you
But
put up with me? And I
well,
look at
that's been a challenge. I mean, if we're gonna be honest.
well,
No,
yeah.
no, I think that I think we every time we pass a milestone group, I think it's really worth noting that we have um one of we have a very unique partnership, and we have a very unique team as well. And from the day that you started this, because you started it, and you welcomed in Aaron, and then me, and then Ben, and then Aaron, and then Trip, and now Dennis. It's been nothing but
And Dave.
stability
And
from
Dave. Don't forget Dave either.
and
Yeah.
Dave. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
see, he's down
We
under.
forget
See,
Dave. He's all the way on the
it's
other
the
end of the planet.
southern hemisphere.
Yeah, it's the
You know,
southern hemisphere.
Dave doesn't believe me when I tell him that I'm not one of the biggest music consumers, and clearly I just exercised it right there. Um, I
No, it's all good.
what I love about what I love, speaking of Dave, what I love about what you brought and what he brings to it is everything is like you had it, what I really love about the fact that and I just saw you guys just did episode 129, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, is that show came about because you were like, I mean, let's call it what it is. You like to say that I have these bear moments and I fanboy out, which I do, but you were a super fan of that show. It
Yeah.
wasn't even like you were a super fan of that show, and when it, unfortunately had to go away, man, you pounced on that. You're like, man, I want to be a part of this. This is something really cool and special, and I'm glad it worked out, man.
Yeah.
You and David on fire. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
I don't know if people know a little of the backstory with that. So, you're talking about the Cigar Jukebox show, which Dave did over 200 episodes out of Australia. And it was hard on Dave. To be honest with you, it's hard. You know how hard it is booking guests. And now add in the schedule of 10-hour differences in time, it's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
So Dave was going to bring it to a close. And in 2018, he tells me this, and I say, "Hey, Dave, if there's a way I can make this work for you to continue doing it, would you do it?" And he said, yeah. So we started talking in 2018. Um, Unfortunately, what happened is that's when I got sick and I had to pull back out. I said, Dave, I can't do this right now. Because it's just, I gotta think of my life here. I come from I had a really serious medical issue.
Yeah.
He totally understood, but Dave didn't bring the show to a close. All right. He actually kept it going a little longer and just, he was talking about club, but he kept it going longer. And then he reapproached me about 6 months later and we started having the conversations at that point. I said, yeah, I'm much better now. I think this is something we can do. So it actually was a year later that it came in 2019. And we're going to have our 5-year anniversary of that show in November. So, I mean, it's a growing show. So, it's been a big part of what we've done. It's changed. Like, I think what Jukebox and now Let's Get Pairing, and you were very quick to point out when we brought Let's Get Pairing in, it changed. It gave us new audiences, which I think was
Mm-hmm.
something really powerful that we have. So we have, and I think the difference is there are some people who watch every show we do, Bear, but then there are other people who have their niche
Yeah.
shows, and that's what we want. We actually want that combination. So I think it's a powerful thing. And the last thing I'll just say is, again, I've said this all the time. We're 7 years into this. We have kept this team together for 7 years.
Yeah.
Um, and I knock on wood. I know at some point it's got to change, right? But I'm just blessed. We're blessed. We've had a very stable team here over the years, and you see a lot of shows. People come and go. I mean, my old show had people come and go in like the 3 years I was there. That people come and go quick, but we've had this stability, which I just think is what makes what makes what we all do here special.
Like I said, it's incredibly unique, and 7 years ago you took a chance on me, and you know and I mean it's changed my life in so many ways. It
Oh, I
really
mean,
has.
it
And
it, it has, and now you have we were just talking in the green room. You've built a very successful franchise in LL Supermart Takes, which we're proud to have as part of the coalition.
Mhm.
And you have a 7-year milestone coming up, and
Yeah.
episode 300 probably coinciding pretty close to each other. If I'm not gonna tip it, but
Yeah.
I
No,
just kind of
it's
looking at
pretty
the calendar,
close.
it's pretty close. I don't think it's exact because you're closer to the.
They're 2 months apart. They're gonna be 2 months apart. It's
Okay, so
crazy.
it's okay. It's that far apart. Okay, so yeah, because you're at 292 this weekend. You'll
Mhm.
hit. Yeah, so it is close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The crazy year was the 100th episode. So I had my birthday episode, which I always make a big deal out
Right.
of. My birthday episode, the 100th episode, which was the famed Pete Johnson episode, my first interview with Pete, and then
But Pete hosted the
uh
show for about
where
15
Pete
minutes.
hosted the show. Yeah, hosted the show for 15 minutes. Thank you, internet.
Yeah.
Um, thank you, interwebs. And then also my anniversary show that year too. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I I can't believe I'm coming up on 300. That's just insane. It's
You know,
insane.
it's a select group you're in. There's not a lot of people who've gotten to 300. So I think it's a group. I would say it's a group under a dozen that have gotten there. Um, and that group, as you get higher, that number just shrinks. The window just shrinks of what there is. I mean, I know Dojo. It is. I think Dojo's at 400 right now. So I think but yeah,
Yeah.
the how about that cigar guys? I
It's
think are coming up on 300 this year or next year. They're
yeah,
close to it.
they're about 7 or 8 months behind me.
Yeah, so
Maybe a little bit more, maybe a
yep.
little less, something like that.
Yeah, we just
So
obviously prime time hit 300 back in March. Um, Garofalo's hit it. KMA's hit it. So it's a smaller group, and we've seen unfortunately we're seeing most of the shows that you remember all those cigar shows that were happening out of the pandemic.
yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, how many of them are left?
What did I tell you though? I told you
They-
that.
yeah, I mean, it
I told
sounds
you
like
that.
even
I was like,
the big one. I'm disappointed that Meet the Professor. It looks like they brought it to a close. I saw a few posts on it. But I mean, they did a great job. McAuliffe's still keeping theirs going from time to time, but it's not like the regularity that it used to have. So, yeah, but you're
it's
right.
kind of hard to do something every day, but yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, but
all these shows are gone.
I told you it was going to be, I told you that was going to happen. And I told you that it was going to be honestly, it was going to be for the betterment of everything. It was a really it was a beautiful renaissance of podcast, like cigar
Yeah,
podcasting. If you think about it, like everyone brought something different. I mean, what was it? The four shots with Tony and Jeremy, like
that
that fucking
that
show was
the
hilarious.
one where
And yeah,
I
well,
got
you got
drunk, but
tanked.
no one knew I was tanked except for McTavish after the show. But I was
Yeah.
holding. I put on a good game face, but I was tanked. Trust me. I
Uh,
mean, the Hustler
that was
guys
such a
are
good show.
one. I should say the Hustler guys did
Yeah.
make it through, but they started before the pandemic, so I'm not counting
Yes.
them as a pandemic show. Um, yeah, but they started beforehand.
And they've really grown in a really great way.
They 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 have. I mean, I bust
Uh,
their balls. They still got to know the difference between CRA and CAA. By the way, they got to get that one nailed down. But I'll help them if I'm there to fact check them.
there you go.
Yeah, but I'm still
They
waiting for a phone call from them. By the way, I don't get phone calls, so. But
texting, texting.
but oh yeah, yeah. But they look, they do a good job, and look, if you see that studio setup, and I've been there, and
Yeah.
they've lately that studio is now at next level. What they've done, I gotta give. I mean, uh, it's more like a set now they got as opposed to a studio.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
wow, I may have to up my game here. Yeah, they did a good job with that.
They kind of did what I want to do eventually with this place.
Same here.
I want to be able to do that. My next investment is going to be I already have a hands-free mic because I wear a headset, but I want to bring like what McTavish has.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm actually the Coop studio needs some new equipment, like a new light and a couple of new things. And I think I'm gonna put one of those mics in at this point too, like have the stand mic to work that way.
but dude, I'm speaking of lights. I mean, this is the light that you got me for 7 years ago, man. It's still holding strong. I had the original light bulb. The original light bulb was still good, and it probably would still be working today if it weren't for my son who broke it. So there's a new
That's
light bulb in there, but that's about it.
The light in the Coop studio is being held up with duct tape right now, but I like this light. But when the duct tape kind of sometimes you'll see the light off at times, and that's because I have to get a better ring light here at this point, which I'm gonna be doing. So and then we are PCA coverage will be ending this week. I can assure you that. And then I have a couple of options I'm looking at in terms of streaming. One will be we stay on the current platform, and one is another platform, and I'm going to start evaluating that probably next month, and then you guys will participate, and we could kind of decide on that.
Fantastic.
I found another streaming platform, which I'm investigating. But the one like Zoom has new feature functionality, by the way, which I'm pretty impressed with so far. So I want to test it out.
Yeah, Zoom's been doing some new stuff.
And the
So
thing
I
is,
got my
Zoom is
coffee.
easy. Zoom is easy to use for
Yes,
everyone. That's why I like it.
yes, definitely. It's super easy to use.
Yeah.
So I got my coffee delivered to me. What are you drinking?
Well, glad you asked. I pulled out one of these Abina sodas. These are sodas designed to pair with cigars. This is called the Vinny. It's kind of got a bit of a ginger beer taste, but it's not as sharp. So you have
Hmm.
ginger beers like the worst thing to pair with a cigar. This one's not the case. It's not a sharp ginger beer. It's kind of a very subtle one. So it actually complements well, and it's got this nice little molasses sweetness again, but it's not overpowering. It's subtle on there. So I actually been drinking this, and I haven't paired my cigar because I'm gonna have you pick my cigar tonight too. So, and then I'll follow it up with a the usual diet soda after that.
Fantastic. Well, I'm super excited to get this show going, Coop. Right. So I mean, let's flip things on the edge here. You said you wanted me to pick your cigar. Go ahead. What are my choices tonight? What are
Yeah,
we
I
doing?
figured, in honor, I never get you to pick mine, so I said let me pick three. So number one, and I tried to go neutral for tonight's show. I didn't want to pick a cigar that's on the list for tonight. So number one is I went with the American Toro. This is a former Cigar of the Year on Cigar Coop. This is by
Hmm.
J.C. Newman. Number two, this is an Opus X Shark Toast Across America.
Ooh,
Yep. This
that's
was
sexy.
courtesy of a gift from the Bull Shark. And then number three is I have a Black Orc Studio S&R from last year, Corona Gorda, or
Oh,
I think he calls it
God,
Corona
dude, that
Lager.
was yeah, Corona Lager.
Corona Lager,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a great. It's always a great cigar, but last year's was really fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
So I've smoked this. When I was at Pearl Sabor last year, James handed me one of these when we were at dinner. He came to the final dinner, and I was blown away by it. And I had smoked a lot of cigars that day, and I was like, this is really good. I
Yeah,
did have this. Actually, I didn't. I never reviewed this, and I don't know what happened, why it didn't get reviewed. It's a shame because it should
you never reviewed Serpus and Rebus? Like, well,
not the
it's an
2023,
annual thing
not
where
the
it's
20 the 2023 one's different though. So yeah, I have
yes.
reviewed these the SNR before, but not this one.
Okay,
Yeah. But
sweet.
that's why I do 2-year windows. So when that happens, I can get to it.
Did you ever do the poison dart? I don't think I
Yeah,
ever saw.
I believe I did. I don't remember what I gave it, but I believe I did. I like the poison dart a lot. You know me, Brazilian, and I liked it.
I was really, yeah, I was really shocked that you did. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
very good
Um,
Brazilian.
well, cool. Um, I, yeah, I really, I, gosh, I'm really, man, if I had a Serpents and Rainbows right now, I'd smoke the shit out of that. How many have you smoked today?
I smoked one cigar this afternoon.
Really? That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've been just actually I made sure I got rest tonight for this show because I'm still jet lagged. So
Okay.
yeah.
What did you smoke?
I smoked the Nicholas by LH, which is his new Maduro he's come out with. It's a
Oh,
kind of
okay.
a really good cigar. It's kind of a medium to full profile, but a really nice cigar.
Nice. Um, and what did you have for dinner?
I had for dinner stuffed peppers, but they weren't spicy. You know what I
Sure.
mean? They were not hot peppers. They were sweet peppers. Yeah.
Okay, so stuffed peppers, sweet peppers. You had a Maduro this afternoon, and you're drinking something that kind of reminds you of ginger.
Yeah.
Um, you know what? Let's do the serpents and rainbows, and then
Okay.
follow it, and then finish it with the opus.
Okay. So second would be the Opus, and then third
Yeah.
would be okay. We'll do that. All right. I am looking forward to it. So
Um, cool. Well, I actually did pick cigars for the list.
that's fine.
Um,
And actually, to be honest with
uh,
you, I felt like if I would exclude a cigar, I'd be kind of doing it was just me, I guess. But I figured you
well,
would
I
be
did. I picked. I went and like I was like, okay, well, let me just grab the first five that I see in
you know,
my
him.
in the humidor.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, cool. So I had the list and I was like, okay, let me just grab five. And so I did that. And I think I got some good choices here. So I've got the Padron 50th Maduro.
Very nice.
I have a
Excellent.
Liga Privada number 9.
Now, different size, but same blend.
This is not the I grabbed a Robusto. I
Okay.
didn't
Yep. Okay.
I so the only I only have T52s in the bellies.
Yep. No, that's fine.
So
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure I had that right on the list. So I think I did.
I did have an E3. I couldn't believe this because we were going to talk about my history with the cigar, but I do have a La Historia
Yep.
E number 3.
Okay.
I have a My Father Cremas number 3,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have J.C. Newman, Julius Caesar.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say, why don't you go? What was the third one again? The one after the Liga, you said.
I had the My Father Cremas, and then I had the EP Carrillo La
Yeah,
Historia E3.
yeah. Let's go with the last story number three. That was the one I was thinking of. Yeah, I just said brain fart.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
Sweet.
It's the highest rated one on the list, but it may not necessarily for the draft be, but a solid cigar. Uh, and that's of course named for Ernesto Perez Carrillo III. They call E3.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
And a cigar
I
bear that
am
really put Ernesto's company, I think, on the map.
1000%.
Not
Thousand
Ernesto.
percent.
Ernesto was on the map, but as far as EP Carrillo goes, that cigar changed the company after that.
Yeah, and I mean, just dude, look. I mean, look at the color.
Yeah, and this is, I think, like I say, true family effort in this one too, because Lizette had a lot to do with the packaging on that one too,
Hmm.
and and obviously Ernie with the blend, so yeah,
Dude, you gotta check out this wrapper. I mean, this is some tooth, man.
there's some toothiness. That's a classic toothy San Andreas wrapper. Um, a really, really, like I said, the E3 is the size I like the best in that blend, by the way.
Yeah, it's like this elegant, rustic elegance. It's like a cabin on Lake Tahoe kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like,
Just yeah, he like I said, and, in a lot of ways, a lot of story gets forgotten about. I think with the whole Perez Carrillo series lately. But it's because obviously the others, there were two number ones that followed that, but that was a number two.
yeah. Well, we're gonna talk more about this one, I
Yeah,
think, when
we'll
it
talk
comes
more
up.
about that
But
as we get into them.
um, uh, but I am actually, so I wanted to note this too. So I had Les Mann on my show on Sunday of ST DuPont Coals of London.
Uh-huh.
And he was kind enough to get me this. But it didn't make it in time for the show, but want to go ahead and shout it out now. So just special nod of the cap to our good friends at ST DuPont and Les Mann. I am using the new ST DuPont Maxi Gent, the Fluo, and this is the orange. It's got that beautiful, vibrant orange on the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. This is, and oh my God, that flame is insane.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
And I'll bring out my ST DuPont as well. And this was also provided to Les. We use these on Matt Tobacco's show. So this is something that we use on the show, and they loan us product from time to time. So this one's on loan. This is the Biggie flame, which has got that. I love that soft fan flame on this thing. So and if folks didn't see Bear's interview with Les, it's pretty cool. It's a really good interview. So you know,
Thank you.
I think we've all gotten to really know Les a lot better in the last year. And he's just a fantastic asset to the industry.
He really is. I
Yep.
mean, he's got such a great, unique story. It's really fantastic.
I agree.
It's really fantastic. Really fantastic effort. Just insane.
So yeah, those fluid ones are really nice. In fact, we just got one. We're gonna be swapping this one out. So the fluid one just came as well, actually today. So I haven't even opened it, but I know it's the fluid because I saw the outside packaging. I didn't have time to set it up or anything. Another shout out I just want to give before we kind of get into things. I did the Dojo show a couple weeks ago. Did you see the one where Dojo put up these accessories? And he was asking us to
Yeah.
rank accessories, right? And there was a gadget from Kevin Shahan of Cigar Prop, which was a cigar bleeder tool, which bleeds your lighter,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And I looked at the thing on the screen, and I'm like, you know what? I have destroyed several lighters by not bleeding it with a tool that fits right. So you can damage that valve, particularly if you don't bleed it right. But Kevin has a tool designed that it won't damage the valve. It's a very and I was high on it, and then he sent me one. He just sent me one of them. And I was playing with it today. And I gotta say, if you're gonna bleed a lighter, this tool is an absolute must-have. It cleanly bleeds it. You're not gonna damage the valve. And I would just highly recommend it. I haven't used it on the DuPont yet, but I haven't had to bleed the DuPonts. I'll be honest with you. Other lighters I do have to bleed. So definitely recommend that bleeding. It's like $20. It's on a keychain, but it works great. I mean, honestly, Bear, it's the best bleeding thing I've ever used on a lighter.
Well, Kevin's got a good mind for that, man. He's he may not have I'm pretty confident. I don't think he has an actual engineering degree, but I mean he is a mechanic by trade, so he understands he understands how things are supposed to work.
Yeah.
And it really helps.
And I gotta say, like I said, it's a really good tool. I should have brought it on here, and I apologize to him on that because I had it. I was playing with the lighters up in my office in the house. But yeah, it's like I said, it's a gadget that, like I said, and when I say it bleeds it clean, it gets it all out of there. And you're not gonna damage, because I have damaged certain valves by using an awl, and an awl's a bad idea to use, by the way. Or a screwdriver, but this is
Ballpoint pen.
Ballpoint. Don't use a ballpoint. Do not use a ballpoint pen. I've exploded a couple of those. Not a good idea. Seriously, I actually have. So this is, like I said, it's really clean, and I used it on about 8 or 9 lighters, and it fit every one of them. So I didn't have any problem with that. So good job there.
So this is pairing really well with my coffee right now. This is fantastic.
Yeah, same thing with this. I gotta say, with the soda, the Abina sodas, which, like I said, these sodas they're new. They're meant to pair with cigars, and I had one of the sodas, Bear. It paired perfect with the Solis by LaFleur. I mean, it was just.
Oh, nice.
In fact, I only had 2 sodas of each of the flavors. I'm saving that other flavor for Solis again, because I think it paired like magic, is what I'll just say.
It's kind of like Epernay and champagne; they just go together perfectly.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I thought the mix of the 2 wrappers would really pair well with the ginger that you were talking about that's in the soda.
Hey,
So
you nailed this, Bear. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not like I said, the ginger, when I saw it, I haven't tried this. Is called the Vinny, this flavor. I haven't tried this one, and it was the one I was, and I said, well, let me give it a try because the other ones were all really good, right? But the ginger was scaring me a bit. It was just really scaring me that it wouldn't pair. It would, and it's not the case at all. It's a subtle ginger, and it's if anything, it's bringing out flavors in each of these, like what a pairing should do.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I am so I thought before we get into introduction, well, as we get into introductions of tonight's concept, if that's what you want to do next.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the concept, but yeah. So that's what I was going to introduce the concept, talk a little about the history of it, because I want to make it clear we're not the first to do this. So yeah.
Yeah. So how do you want to do this, Coop? You want me to talk about it first? You want to talk about it?
Why don't you talk about what we're going to do tonight, and then I'll get into a little of the context of some of the history of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So for tonight's show, we are doing the first ever, which will become a series. So
Yep.
if you guys are fans of the show and you guys like our aging experiment, our Mount Rushmores, our Halls of Fame,
Yep.
things like that, we're introducing a new series here. You know, we're 7 years young and we're
Yep.
going to introduce something new here. So we're introducing a new series here. Coop's going to go into the facts about we're not the first to do this
Right.
particular type of thing. But this is actually taking inspiration from some of our predecessors in the cigar industry, sports.
Yep.
Which you'll get that here in a second. And also another podcast that's in the movie industry, in the film industry, that I really like as well. It's called The Big Picture. It's on the Ringer Network. And they do a draft as well from for films so what the concept is tonight specifically, we're going to do different variations on this. So you guys are going to see this. We might bring this type of variation back, but we're going to kind of tweak it a little bit and have fun with it. So like, while Mount Rushmore has kind of stayed consistent, we're going to have a lot of fun with this over, hopefully the next few years with different kinds to kind of keep you guys engaged and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about it. But tonight's show is it's the Cigar Aficionado magazine top 25 of 2014. So it's 10 years ago. Their list from 10 years ago. We're redrafting their top 25. Okay.
What?
So it is called a redraft. So we are redrafting their top 25, and it's going to be between Coop and I, and we're only drafting 10 cigars apiece. Neither one of us can have the same cigar.
Well, we're drafting 12, but
right. I'm going to get there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're going to get essentially top 24, but we're going to do 12 cigars apiece. But from the list specifically, we're drafting 10 cigars each. Neither one of us can have the same cigar. Coop's going to announce the order here in a second, but it's going to be in a snake pattern, right? So, the first pick goes first, second pick gets to pick twice, etc., right? Until we both hit 10 on Cigar Aficionado. But then the last two picks, which will round out our top 12, we are picking 2 wild card cigars. Now, Here's the condition on the wild card cigars. The wild card cigars have had to have been released in 2014. They are not listed on the Cigar Aficionado top 25 from that year, and they cannot be from a brand that we've already chosen.
Right.
So, as this Coop mentioned, this is on the list. The cigar that I'm smoking, the EP Carrillo La Astoria, right? So, if Coop picks that cigar, when it gets to wild card time, he can't pick another EP Carrillo cigar. Right.
From that year. From that. Well, yeah, it has to be released that year.
From that year, correct.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing, guys. We're redrafting the 2014 Cigar Aficionado top 25 with 2 additional wild cards to make top 12s. And we're going to invite you guys to vote on this. So I'm really excited about this part. Coop was going to give more of the details here in a second, but we're going to post the list on cigar-coop.com.
Right.
We're going to publish it there too. And you guys get to vote on whose list was better. Mine. Anyway, you get to pick on whose list was better. And when you guys, every time you guys enter a vote, you're going to be entered to win a prize. And Coop's going to talk a little bit more about that. So Coop, give us a little bit of the history.
Yep.
And then let's get drafting.
Yep. So first, I'll just mention what the prize is. So what's going to happen is, after this show tomorrow, you'll see on Cigar Cooper post. It will have both of our lineups of cigars, Bears and mine, and all you'll have to do is comment on whose list you would prefer. All I ask is you comment, you say one or the other, but don't take the cop out and say both or neither. Otherwise, I won't count your vote. So you got to pick one or the other. Why you picked it is simple. You don't have to give me, one or two, a few words are fine. And then we'll decide. We'll see who wins, and maybe Barry, you and I make a gentleman's bet on something. Who has the ends up getting better, right? We can make a gentleman's bet on the side with that.
Yeah.
But you guys, it doesn't matter who wins. As long as you comment on it, you'll be eligible to win this month's Tabacalera USA prize pack. It's a Romeo Julieta prize pack. So we moved these from this show to the website because we were getting a lot more response on the website. I gotta be honest with you. It was like 3 to 4 times the amount of people were entering, right? So, these are the prize, and this month's prize pack is Romeo Julieta, Reserva Real Nicaragua, and it includes a lighter, a set of binoculars, and they sent me the binoculars. They're pretty cool. They're a mini set of binoculars.
Yeah, I got the binoculars too, man.
Yeah, they're
pretty
pretty cool. And I have that lighter, but I have it in a like another. I think it's like an H. Upman one I have.
Okay, well, Raphael was tuning in a minute ago. I need to get some playing cards, sir.
Yeah,
That
we gotta
needs
get
to
that.
happen.
Yeah.
I'll Venmo you, man. I'm not above that. I'll pay for them.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to get some playing
Those
cards.
playing cards are pretty slick too. Yeah. So they weren't in
Yeah.
our pack because our pack's a little different because it's media.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these packs are great. So look, Romeo Julieta and the brands of Altas have been a part of the CA list for many years. So I thought it would be also appropriate to do that. But again, you just vote for whoever you think is the better list. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if you want to pick the wrong choice and pick Coops, it's fine.
Right. Yeah. I'm just saying, the vote, it doesn't matter how you vote. You're as long as you comment, as long as you cast a vote, you're eligible for it. And then Bear and I could do a gentleman's bet on something with that, like a cigar or something like that. I think we can have a little fun with that too. So
when you're done, I have one more thing before we get started that I want to agree to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when we do things like this, when we do concepts like this, a lot of us, you and I bring, sometimes there's a specific criteria, which we've already mentioned, specific rules of criteria. But obviously you and I are going to have two different approaches. So what I'd like to do as a gentleman's agreement here is that we will discuss what our personal criteria was after our lists are finalized.
That's fine.
Because I don't want want you to give me an edge
or vice versa.
Or vice versa. I'm like, okay, this is his criteria. Right. So he's going to pick that. So I'm going to snipe it from him or something like that. So,
hey, let me just one clarification too. The wild card picks are the last two. So we picked the CA one. Yep. And I think that's fine with that. And like I said, the criteria with that is, like I said, in Habanos, I will say will count for all Habanos brands. So, we're not going to, if you draft a Habanos cigar, then you can't pick a wild card Habanos.
Yeah. That's the same. Like,
yeah.
I'd same with general.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yep. Now we did a randomized number. I won the first pick, so it means I picked first, Bear picked second. Well, I mean, I could do a lot. I could have. So what's going to happen is I pick first, and then you'll pick second and third. I pick fourth and fifth. So we'll be making 2 picks at a time after we go forward here. Yeah.
Correct.
And
I all honesty, Coop, we did do a random thing, and you didn't earn it fair and square. I'm honestly glad you went first. Like, I wanted to do it random just in the interest of fairness.
Right.
But I was really hoping you would go first, not because I thought that it would give me some kind of advantage.
Yeah.
Man, 7 years, man. We wouldn't be here without you. I mean, it's been a partnership. You've always said that, and I'm giving that to you tonight. I'm giving that to you tonight. Every other time I work for you, but tonight we work together. Okay, we work together.
Absolutely. With that, so yeah, that's how we kind of done that, and we may expand this to the other team members if we find this concept's really working too. We have a lot of options with it, but the idea is that yes, this is going to be a new series within the show. That's our plan.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about this. I'm
Yep.
excited about this. So, yeah, you've talked about the history a little bit.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
again,
I haven't talked about the history yet, have I? I talked about the back.
just
Yep.
no, just a little bit. No, but yeah, I do want to give homage to some of the predecessors that have come before us,
Yes.
and how we're going to be different.
Yes.
But still giving them a
Yep.
nod because
Yep.
they were ones to do it. So go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, so I have there are three examples that I have. And if there's more, I missed it. So the earliest cigar draft that I can recall was Cigar Dave doing it on his old Saturday show. And this goes back this goes back to, I want to say, 2007, 2008, right? And and what he did basically is he would have 20, he would basically just say, have callers call in and name a cigar, name any 20 cigars. And it was just kind of, hey, you start, and then once a cigar is off the board, obviously you couldn't pick it, but it was open to anything. But I
Yeah.
remember this very, very strongly because it was the first year I moved to Charlotte. He does the cigar draft, and the first cigar picked, I had not had it, but it was, I had to go get it at that point. Was the Jose Sayas signature was picked by some caller,
Oh shit. Yeah.
and
Great
I'm
pick.
like, oh, all right, enough's enough. I got to go smoke this cigar. So Craig Cass at Tinderbox happened to have it, and I went down there and got it, and it was
Nice.
fantastic, right? So I remember that very clearly, and he would do that cigar draft. He did it for many years. It was always a fun segment, but it was very simple. Hey, call in, name a cigar, right? It was nothing more than that, right?
Yeah.
He did 2 rounds. It was 20. Cigar Coop did a cigar draft a couple times, but it was a little different. So what I did, this is back when I was before Stogie Geeks even. I basically had an idea where I knew cigars that were being released at the trade show, and I basically said, okay, if I was gonna have cigars at the trade show, which ones would I draft and want to smoke first? And I put together like a list of, I think, 20 to 25 of those. And I did that for a couple of years, and then it just kind of fizzled out. But that was I, and you can go search for Cigar Draft on Coop and you'll find it. So it is on it. So I'm going back to 2012, 2011. This was a long time ago. Um, and I think I just discontinued it because at the time I was just solo, right? And now we're kind of bringing it back a little different. So it's a different type of concept. The most recent example, and I think we should give them credit, is Cigar Authority's been doing it.
Yeah.
Um, they kind of do a salary. They have a kind of cool way they do it. They have their team draft cigars to build sampler packs that they then sell. And they have a salary cap on it. So it's kind of a you could draft, but once you hit a certain price point, you can't draft anymore. So it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting, but they're doing it, I think, to try to build most bang for your buck with a sampler pack, and that's totally fine too. Um,
It's a
yeah,
really cool concept, especially since their pod is tied to a
yeah, I
retail
liked it.
establishment. Like it's really cool. Like what I really like about it is, and there's going to be thinking that goes involved with ours too, especially as we kind of develop the series a little bit with some of the ideas that
Yeah,
I've put out there that you've really liked. But man, yeah, they have to think. They have
yeah.
to think on like a number of different levels, and it's pretty cool. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, they done a
I've really
good.
enjoyed the series.
Yeah, they done a good job with it. In fact, I when I was coming back from Florida, I listened to the show, and I think the undrafted cigars was actually the best pack because they put the undrafted ones into a sampler pack too, and
Right.
I think they left all the good ones in there. But again, I know folks sometimes. Well, are we stealing an idea? No, because other people have done it. I've done it beforehand, and I'm going to be totally honest. Bear and I have been talking about this for about a year, and
Yeah.
as we were doing this last year, they do their cigar draft, and then I think we had other things happen. So, we've been talking about this for a long time. So,
Yeah.
but like I
Well,
said, I think it's all good. They're all different types, but I think it's fair to give homage to the other people who have done this before.
thousand percent,
Yeah,
thousand
yeah,
percent,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
They were
Because
when
they
they were
are good.
first
They're
to do it.
good concepts, and they're all a little different. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're first to do it, and you
Yeah,
gotta do a little bit of nod and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Um, And like I said, hopefully what you guys will enjoy is the different takes that we do on it. But I thought this is the way that I've always we've talked about this for a long time, Coop. Not in the sense of using the term redraft. We've but almost re-rank
Rerun, yeah.
and we all do this. Every single person listening to this podcast probably pays attention to the Cigar Aficionado Top 25. More than likely does.
More than they want to admit.
More than they want to admit. And every fucking single one of them go like, well, that's not number one. I would put this cigar number one. Yeah. Everyone already does it. So we're just doing what you do in your head. We're just doing it 10 years later. And we've got certain criteria. Coop's probably got his criteria lined up. I've got mine, my approach to it, his approach to it, but we're going to talk about that at the end.
Yeah.
But the last thing I'll say to this real quick is that what I really like about this exercise, again, and with it being a milestone, it's also for their milestone. 10, they've been doing this for a long time, but we're celebrating 10 years ago was 2014. You look at some of the cigars on this list, which you'll see here in a minute. You're like, holy shit, that was 10 years ago?
That's what is scary about this. That was what was scary about, and when I see E3, which we'll hold on that one, yeah, because when we get to that one.
Yeah, seriously. So pretty cool stuff. So all right, let's go. Let's draft.
All right, so I'm going to bring up our draft board here. Of course, the draft board's not coming up. Why is it not? All right, well, because I don't have it up. All right, here we go. The draft board. There we go. So on the left column are the cigars in order on the Cigar Aficionado Top 25 for the year 2014. So we went back 10 years basically. We probably, I think we probably should have went back 7, but we picked 10, right? And
I picked 10. I said 2014.
No, that's fine. I'm totally fine with that. And then you see here that we will have the roster is built here. With 11 and 12 will not come from the Cigar Aficionado list. They will be wild cards of cigars released that year. So this will basically, I don't know. I just came up with that idea, like a supplemental pick or whatever. I don't know. I just thought to throw something a little different in. So for people who hate the list, we're going to have something in there as well.
Well, it gets us to 20. It gets us to 25. Like it gets us as close to 25.
It gets us that's what I thought. And I thought, okay, then it puts a little strategy because something will be left off, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll just read them real quick here. Number 1, Oliva Serie V Milano Figurado. Number 2 is EP Carrillo La Historia E3. Number 3 is the Illusione Fuma de Amor Clementes. Number 4 is Hoya de Monterrey Epicure Especial the Tubo. Number 5, Rocky Patel Royal Toro. Number 6, Fuente Opus X Perfection X. Number 7, Padron Family Reserve 50 Years Maduro. Number 8, Ashton ESV 22-Year Salute. Number 9, Monte by Monte Cristo Acopo. Number 10, the A. Flores 1975 Serie Privada Capa Habano SP2. SP50? I think it's SP52, it should be.
SP52.
Yeah. Number 11 is the Cohiba Esplendido. Number 12, Padilla Reserva Toro. Number 13, Te Amo Revolution Robusto Ovaldo. Number 4, Diamond Crown Julius Caesar Robusto. Number 15, Monte Cristo Double Edmundo. Number 16, Alec Bradley Mundial. Number 5. Number 7 is the My Father. Number 3, that should be the Crema. Number 18, the San Cristobal Revelation Legend. Number 19, the Matilde Renaissance Corona. Number 20, the Drew Estate Liga Privada. Number 9, Bellicoso. Number 21, Davidoff Nicaragua Robusto. Number 12, Liguria Cubana, Serie R Esteli, number 54. Number 23, the Lito Gomez Diaz Lancero. Number 24, at the time it was a Nat Sherman, so we're going to say Nat Sherman Timeless Collection Churchill. And number 25, the Tatuai Havana 6 Red Label Artistas. Bear, there was something I noticed that was interesting on this list as I was reading it, and I just noticed it. Yeah. I think this is the only time I remember 2 Monte Cristos one from Cuba, not one from not Cuba on the list together.
Yeah.
I think this may be the only time it happened.
Mm-hmm.
If it did, but if it's happened, it's very few. It's happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun on this list, and you go down this list of cigars. I was also like, because a lot of times, like at the time, I honestly think like I've looked at the top 25 in with a short angle, with a short lens in a
Yeah.
lot of years, and every time it gets released, I'm like, ah, they could have done better. Like I've always got this kind of inner beef with it for the most part. Not because I think all the cigars are trash or whatever like that. Nothing terribly volatile, but like I always think that they could have done better. You look back at 2014, you look at these cigars, and we're gonna obviously talk a lot about them in detail today. But like that's a good fucking list.
It's a good list. It really is. It really is. There's not a lot of duds on this list, if any.
Yeah,
There's not the head scratcher one on here. Monty by Monte Cristo was a really good line. A
yeah,
really good line. It was a little more value price too, but it was very good.
yeah. It's a little more,
And look,
a little more.
I know that Teoma Revolution was polarizing. I didn't think it was a bad cigar. I thought it was a good cigar, actually. I didn't necessarily maybe it wasn't top 25 for me, but I didn't think it was a bad cigar.
Yeah. Yeah, I obviously have some thoughts on some of these cigars along the way, but like just overall, like there's some, like I said, there's some good stuff. And I think one of the things you can point out right off the bat that's really surprising is Fuente and Padron are both out of the top 5.
Yes.
That's crazy. That's
That's a
crazy.
rare one that's happened. Yeah.
Crazy.
That's a rare time that's happened.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, you have the honor, my friend. What's the first pick?
I got one question before. Well, I'll save. Okay, never mind. Never mind. It's
No,
not a
no,
question.
ask the question.
No, I was just wondering if Fume de Amor hasn't gotten rebranded, has it? I think
No.
it's still. I don't know if they're gonna rebrand that one or not. Actually, that's what I was just wondering. All right. Okay. With the first pick, um, I'm going Fuente Opus X Perfection X.
Nice. Solid,
So,
dude.
so listen, it's a great cigar, and honestly, if I could get it, I'm getting it. So, like any Fuente Opus X.
I dude, I honestly thought I didn't see you taking the Opus number
Really?
1. I mean, I thought there was an outside chance, but I thought it was going to be the dead ringer on another cigar. Like I just thought, like
Yeah.
there's no way he's not fucking picking this cigar. That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I went the Fuente Opus X Perfection. And by the way, we're
Damn.
not taking price into consideration with how unless you want to take
Yeah.
it into consideration. So,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to price
no.
these out for you guys. You guys can figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
No
it's
joke.
going to be hard to price some of these out. That's why.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So Fuente's off the board. All right.
And then the way
Okay.
I'll put a list together, but it will snake. So yeah, it'll kind of be like this, right to left, left to right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I thought you were going to pick the cigar, so I honestly thought I was going to get the Opus. So that's pretty fascinating.
Yep.
So I think the obvious choice is that what I got to do was I got to go with the Padron Family Reserve 50
It
year
was
Futuro.
honestly those were the two. Those were the two I was looking at.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm Coop. I'm shocked, man. I really am. Like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe you went
Well,
with
what's
that.
harder to get? What's harder to get?
No, you got no, absolutely, man. You got
Yeah.
it. I think,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I think if you ask most people, I don't think there are Opus smokers versus Padron smokers. There are polarizing cigar communities, like smokers.
Right.
We talk about, like, we're gonna talk, eventually about the Liga Privada number 9 here tonight. But like, there's Liga 9 smokers and there's T52 smokers, right? We've talked about that before on this show. Like, there's certain factions of people. Like, I don't think there are Padron smokers will be like, fuck that, I'd never smoke a
Right.
Fuente. And I don't think there are Fuente guys who are like, fuck that, I'd never smoke a Padron, right? So like I think like it's like kind of 1A, 1B. And
Yeah.
like they're interchangeable at almost any juncture.
Yeah.
So yeah. So 6 and 7 off the board, which is crazy,
Which
right?
is crazy. And I kind of figured those were going to be the top two picks, though.
Yeah, no, I
Uh,
knew this was gonna be it. I thought
yeah.
I was getting Oprah style. I can't believe it.
Honestly, if I had the second pick and would you like if you had the first pick, would you have Padron?
I would have Padron, yeah.
So I would have had it either way. Yeah, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, you would
Yeah.
have had it either way.
Yeah. But yeah,
So
I think they were clear 1 and 1A here with these
I
picks.
was thrilled with the consolation prize, thinking that you were going to take Padron. I was like,
I,
okay, I fucking get the Opus. Who cares?
I
Like, I'm good.
yeah.
This is solid. This
Yeah.
is solid. All right. So with my second pick, since we're doing the snake, I'm gonna go with the number one cigar. I'm gonna go with the Oliva Serie V Melanio Figurado.
Wow. Okay, a little earlier than I thought. But I figured it would go. So yeah, that is obviously you're picking the number one of the year. I think it lost a little bear because it's been so there's been so much. It's been the focus of a lever for the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
For good reason though, man.
but for good reason. Yeah, I get it.
I mean,
get it.
if you think about this, right? I mean,
Right.
these are three flagship
Yeah.
special cigars for these respective brands, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
And you
true.
could argue, and you can also argue that nobody else on this list has their flagship cigar, like, or has one really,
Right.
right? Like
Right.
Fuente has the iconic Opus, like that is their crown jewel.
Yep.
That is their thing. You know, Oliva has Melanio. That is their crown jewel.
That is their flagship. Yeah. Which
Padron, it's the family reserve. Like there are people who like 26 series. There are people who like 64 series. But man, when it comes to the family series, that is their crown jewel, man. They hang their hat on that shit.
Yeah.
And you know, we're all on pins and needles waiting for the 60 to drop. But for right now, the 50's king, man. I mean, I think that we talked about this. We smoked the 46. We both think the 46 is better.
Yeah.
But but the 50 is king. It just is.
Yeah, it is. It is. And by the way, that's the family reserve, not the 50th Hammer one.
Right.
Yep. Yep. That means I'm up.
You're up.
All right. So the first pick is pretty much on the board for me, so that's easy. The second one's gonna be a little tougher, but I'm gonna go Davidoff Nicaragua Robusto.
Dude, number 21 coming up, man.
But wow,
that is a sick steal, dude. That is a sick fucking steal. Oh my god, I had that so fucking high.
And I love the Robusto size too. Yeah.
Shit. Oh god, I thought I was. Oh man, I thought I had an edge over you on that one because I had that so high. God damn it. Oh, nice pick.
I thought you might grab it with the second pick. I said I didn't think you were gonna grab the other. I thought you had. I had a feeling you had Davidoff eyeballed in this thing.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Oh god damn it. Okay. All right. Man, this was such a great cigar, man. And what I really love, this 2014 represented, I think, a culmination of a lot of things, right? You know, it's the genesis, the beginning of the Hans Christian Hosgaard era,
right?
With Davidoff, you know, this really revolutionary time at Davidoff, and from a cigar aficionado perspective, like this was a real groundbreaking cigar because, you know, look, you can say what you want about the panelists and how, you know, the reviewers and how they judge cigars and all that other stuff. They don't like Davidoff cigars. Like historically, they don't like Davidoff cigars.
They just trashed the Maduro today.
Yeah,
Insider.
They
gave one side. They gave one side a good review, but yeah,
they don't like the fucking cigar. They just don't. Like they just don't. It doesn't hit any of their palates. It's not like it, and it's been consistent too. Like it's like the Melanio. They love that cigar. They love the Melanio, man. They love the Melanio. And
But they don't love the Milano Maduro as much. They've given a
yeah,
few, but I don't think the Maduro's ever gotten as many ratings as the original Madano.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true there. But man, yeah, nice pick. Damn. Oof. All right, man. Let's have it.
Oh, people are gonna accuse me of being an old fart, but I'm gonna pick it. Ashton ESV 22-year salute.
Dude, seriously?
Yeah,
Okay.
I love that
All
cigar.
right, Coop. All right, Coop.
I'm an ESV. Yeah. You're not a
Dude, I
fan.
had no. It's you're gonna understand with my criteria here in a second. So,
Okay.
like, in a second, like after a while, we're gonna talk about this. Do I love the cigar? Absolutely, absolutely. I think the cigar is great.
Yep.
But yeah, man. Dude, I think that's a reach, dude. I know it's number 8 on the list, but that's a reach.
I love the ESV when I mean, I've told Andy, we need to get the ESVs going, like get those more salutes going. I love those.
Wow. Okay.
I had ESV higher than the Lever, just so you know, on my board.
Damn. You serious?
I'm serious. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But well, when we get to the criteria, I think maybe I got to understand where you're coming from with this. I'm sure you have a legitimate reason with this.
Yeah. Um. God,
You
man,
got two, you got two picks.
I got 2 picks. So, man, I think this cigar for so long this cigar had such mystique to it, in the retail sphere. It wasn't given a lot of due for a long time in Cigar Aficionado. This brand in particular, um, it took them a little bit longer than some of these other brands that we're going to talk about,
Right.
right? You know, um, and this cigar in particular, mostly because of the person behind it originally, probably it didn't get its due until after a certain person left the company, and that's a real shame because this cigar was a gangbuster at the retail place. It's an incredibly popular cigar still to this day. Well, I talked about it a few minutes ago. There's a battle. It is part of one of the greatest debates in our industry. Are you a T52 smoker or are you a Liga 9 smoker?
Yep.
So I'm picking the Liga Privada number 9
Hey.
Bellicoso.
Yeah. I thought I could still get that one. Good pick, Bear. That's a good pick.
Dude,
Damn,
we
that's a
have
good.
number 20 and 21 in our top 3. Holy shit.
It's
Oh
nuts.
man, this redraft is sick already. Like
I'm gonna see
we're
the.
already
I
like
want to see the
Dave
5 cigars that are left
Dave
off.
Savona's got us on speed dial. Like, what the fuck are you
Okay.
guys doing?
Sorry, Greg. By the way,
Oh,
Greg Matola from Cigar Aficionado met my wife. Just so you know. He's one of
that's
the
awesome.
few. He's one of the few who's met my wife now.
Greg's met your wife and I still haven't.
And
I've
you
heard
still
her
have
voice.
it.
God
He was.
damn
Yeah.
it.
He was very nice
That's
to
some
us.
bullshit. That
Yeah, he
is some
came.
bullshit.
Yeah, he was hanging with us for a little while at the Carlito party. Yeah.
We're buying me a ticket to Charlotte, Coop. This has got
No,
to
I
end.
know, I
This
know.
is
We
good.
gotta
This
make.
preposterousness
Now
has
we
got
gotta
to end.
fix it. You talked to her before him though.
I know. I've talked about
Okay.
it. It's fine. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So my next pick. Oh man, I'm going straight chalk on my big board, man. I haven't disrupted it already. God, dude. I thought I could have Davidoff in this fucking round. I thought I had it. Son of a fucking bitch. All right. So here's my next. I'm gonna fucking go. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go fucking chalk on this bitch. God damn it. All right. Oh God. You're gonna understand the pain here in a second when I announce my hot take. I'm going with the number 2 cigar of the year, EP Korea La Astoria E number 3, which I'm smoking.
Okay. You went 1 and 2.
So I wanted to be a rebel. Apparently, I'm not.
Right.
Um. All right. So here's my hot take. Everyone knows what a huge fan I am of Ernie, right? Love his cigars. The Encore was my number 1 cigar of the year. My second year. It was also this, coincidentally enough, it was also the year the Encore got the #1 cigar of the year from Cigar Aficionado. Thanks guys. Thanks for upstaging me. So the Pledge, right, follows that. Also the #1 cigar. The Allegiance comes out, right?
Yep.
So before the Allegiance is announced, it's the three, right? It's La Historia, the Pledge, and the
Yep.
Encore. So ironically, this is ironic, and if you guys want to know the insider track, like, well, Bear, when you say this, how come the Pledge wasn't #1 on your list? I think the Pledge is the best of the three. Like overall, but like Vitola, across the Vitola range, it's the best. It's the best blend. Like top to bottom, front to back, the best blend. I think Encore is the next best when we talk about the three, right? The Lost
Right.
Story, the Encore, and the Pledge. Not only do I think the Lost Story is the third best blend of this three, I am so much in the minority because everyone I know thinks this cigar is just the absolute banger. It's actually pairing quite well with my coffee, and I am enjoying it. There was a time, Coop, that I did not like, flat out did not like the cigar.
I remember that. I remember that.
Like, did not like it. Like, to be honest, I didn't even know why it was in my humidor. For the most part. That being said, bravo, Ernie, because I'm actually enjoying it. So I'm actually enjoying it tonight. But that's my hot take about this. And it's an exception. It is an exception to my criteria, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I got the #1 and #2 cigars of the year on my list so far. So let's go. Let's go.
You know, the historic. I agree with you ranking the three. Allegiance I'll put on separate because that's coming from another factory. But I do think the E3 is by far the best size of this. So
That might be it, Coop. I can't remember the last time I smoked it. I
yeah,
don't even know how I got this in my humidor. Like,
yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
I swear to God, I don't remember having this. Like, I was like, I found it. I was literally digging through my humidors and stuff, and I was like, I was actually looking for another cigar that was in the top 25, and I was like, and I had, because I knew I had the My Father #3 Cremas, and I was like, oh, I know where that is. I know which
Yep.
humidor that's in. And sure enough, what was sitting next to it was this cigar.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's poetic. So I
Yeah.
grabbed it. But it's going really well with this coffee, man. And yeah, the size is really good. I'm smoking through it pretty quickly, though. I gotta say, it's burning pretty quick.
Yeah, it does
Not in a
burn
bad,
quick.
not in a bad way. Not in a bad
Burn.
way.
It's a thin ring gauge, so it's 50 box press, so it's like a 46, 48, you know. All right. All right. So I'm just gonna make it the trifecta, and I'm gonna take Diamond Crown Julius Caesar Robusto. So I've taken all the
You
Fuente.
son of a bitch! God damn it!
Uh, so now
Fuck.
I own all the Tabacalera Fuente blends.
Fuck,
From the,
dude. God Oh God. Well, gee, I wonder who Ben's gonna vote for. God damn it.
Bull Shark.
God bless America.
All right, and then I'm gonna piss some people off with the next one. Listen, when it comes to Cuban cigars, there are few and far I would say that I will reach for, but this one is a staple brand and blend, and it's the Hoya de Monterrey Epicura Especial.
Dude, that's a fucking great pick. That's a
Listen,
great fucking cigar.
it's gonna be it's to me, like I said, this Hoyt, this is just the one Cuban that it always delivers for me. It always delivers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
That's
take
for sure.
Habano's problems aside. Okay, I'm just saying, flavor wise, this is the one that's always produced. There's about 3 or 4 of these right now that come from that I really will. Juan Lopez, another blend I'll go for
Yeah.
Habanos. But yeah, this is one of them for sure.
Yeah. Juan Lopez and Hoya de Monterrey.
Or
This one
for me,
are
they always deliver. Yeah.
yeah. Those are the two.
Yep.
Bolivar's a close third for me,
Yep.
but it's
Yep.
usually those two that I gravitate
Yeah.
towards.
And then after you make your fifth pick, Bear, I'm gonna just recap our top five. Oh, we'll wait till six. We'll wait till six, so we go to the halfway point. Because I know some folks are listening. That's why. But as opposed to watching, so we'll do it at the halfway point. I'll recap it. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. God damn it, Coop. Motherfucker. Oh, son of a bitch.
It gets tougher now.
I'm almost doing chalk here. Okay. God. Okay. All right. So I find this particular spot. This is one of my favorite spots to watch on the list every year. Because typically it's a number, there's a cigar, it's typically a throw in. Um and it's usually reserved for like a hot and upcoming brand,
Yep.
or something that's just like an outlier a little bit, but it's something that's like the market's a little bit excited about. Typically that tends to hit the palate of the panel at Cigar Aficionado. The one of the most notable times I could think of, it wasn't obviously on this list, but the El Huehuense, uh which has now been rebranded by Nick Melillo, but the original release from Foundation, the El Huehuense, was the hit the number 25 spot its first year
Yeah.
on the top 10 list. So
Right.
it's always a spot that I look at because it's always interesting. And this was the first year he's been on this list uh every single year almost, going back quite a ways, and he's still knocking at the door of getting that number one for himself. And he thinks I jinx him every single year, but he puts out banger after banger, man. And for it's a cigar brand that really speaks to this panel. And he's had some cigars that have repeated in certain spots and everything. But so for my next pick, I'm going to go with the Tatuaje Havana #6
Oh, you
Artistas.
suck. I wanted that. I waited too long. Shame on me.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
Yep. Showing
Shame
you.
on me.
Look at my extremes though. I've got 1, 2, a 20, and 25, and then
Yeah.
the number 7 is the Padron. It's just
Yeah.
randomly just
Yep.
sitting it there.
Yeah.
Um. You fucking took the Diamond Crown. God, you piece of shit. Um. Man.
Well, you just got one from me, so.
Yep. Yep. Um. I really didn't know where to put the cigar on my list, and there's a number of reasons why. I think honestly, Coop, this may break or make my list. This next pick,
Uh-huh.
and it's because it's polarizing in a lot of ways. On one hand, this is a brand and a company that's incredibly popular and has had a 30-year history that's been, yeah, I had some ups and downs, but a lot of ups. And in a lot of ways, they revolutionized, in one specific way, they revolutionized the industry for the better and for the long term. And in another way, this is a controversial pick because it's not a flagship brand for them,
Yeah.
and it's a controversial size, much to my chagrin. But thank God Sean Miles is in the chat and he can save my ass on this one. So help me out here, Sean. Screaming from the rooftops. I'm going Lito Gomez Diaz, the Lancero, the number 23 cigar.
Well, really good pick there. Yeah. I thought I could hold out. I figured you would grab a Lancero. You know what I think of the Lito Gomez Diaz brand. It is spectacular, that brand. And that's a very good Lancero as well. That's a good pick. But it could make or break you. You're gonna get the Lancero vote.
Yeah. Well, luckily there's not really a Gordo in here for you to pick and just win the whole fucking thing. So
Right.
God, he can't believe you selected Julius Caesar from me. Son of a bitch.
All right. I don't have any Nicaraguan cigars on this list. I will now. I'm
What are
gonna
you
go
talking about? The Davidoff Nicaragua. Oh, you're talking manufacturing. Okay,
manufactured in
sorry.
Nicaragua. I don't have any
I
yet.
was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. So but surprisingly, this is a very thin year for Nicaraguan blends on this list. I'll
True.
say that.
True.
But I'm gonna go with my father #3 Crema.
God, you son of a bitch. Son of a gun.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What a great pick.
Listen, I don't have a my father. My father deserves to be iconically with some of these other blends as well. So I've gone with that one. Um, let me recap what we've had so far. Um, Bear has picked in order the Padron Family Reserve 50 years Maduro was his first pick. The Oliva Serie V Melanio Figurado, which was the number one cigar of the year, is his second pick. Liga Privada number 9 Bellicoso, his third pick. EP Querido La Historia E3, fourth pick. Tatawai Habana, number 6 Artistas, fifth pick. And Alito Gomez Diaz Lancero as his sixth pick. I have picked number 1, Fuente Opus S Perfection X. Number 2, Davidoff Nicaragua Robusto. Number 3, the Ashton ESV 22-year Salute. Number 4, Diamond Crown Juice Caesar Robusto. Number 5 is Habanos Hoya de Monterrey Epicure Especial. And number 6 is the My Father, number 3 Crema. That brings me to the number 7 pick. And I'll just I'm going to piss you off again, Bear. I love this blend. This would be a blend. It's a new brand. It was a new brand that year, but it's a brand that's now got a good decade in the market. And I'm going with the Matilde Renaissance Corona.
Dude, fucking, oh my gosh.
I
You're
knew
picking-
good value at the
You know
7.
what? Absolute. Do you know what? Shame on fucking me. Shame on me, dude. You're gonna see my big board here in a minute, and shame on me for thinking I could steal this later. Shame on me. I'm sorry,
I
Enrique.
knew it wasn't
Enrique,
getting
I let
it,
you down. I
it
let you
wasn't
down.
it wasn't getting through the wraparound with you. I don't think that's why I was like,
Oh my gosh, man. I did not think you would have that high. Dude, shame on me.
well,
Enrique,
you
I
got to
let you
remember.
down, buddy.
So you got to remember this story. This is the cigar I smoked when my daughter got married and we were all checked into a hotel for a week and basically I was blocked from participating in any preparations because my job was just to write checks and give credit cards. I sat on the porch and I was chain smoking Renaceros. It was Lanceros, but I had other sizes. But I was chain smoking this cigar. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn. Shame on me. Shame on me.
Big miss.
That's a really good pick. This is funny, man. This is kind of really funny how this worked out, considering how again, you'll see my big board here in a second.
Yeah.
So this was a cigar I think that I really enjoyed right off the get. It was something totally different. Same but different in terms of palette for this particular brand. I thought it brought a lot of balance and yet different characteristic to the brand, which I thought was really unique at the time. It was a cigar that when it got on this list, it really kind of hit the afterburner for a while at the retail space, and was incredibly popular. The brand overall has gone through a rebranding in recent years, and so it's kind of what do you do with it? But I mean, it's kind of hard to argue against just how fucking good the cigar was, and it was a dark horse at the time. It catapulted into kind of that cigar that was really well priced, everyday smoke, and that you could have that was still really special because it's a really special brand, and it's a company that this list is historically loved over years, and why not? Because he's one of the most gifted blenders in the market today, and so I'm going to go with Dion's Illusione Fuma de Mora Clemente.
Was on the board way too long. Yeah.
So I have 1, 2, and 3. How about that shit? That's insane that I have all 3 of the top 3.
This cigar was a media darling the year it came out. It was in everyone. A lot of the media guys had this, and I don't know what happened with this cigar, but it's gotten lost, and it's a great cigar.
Yeah.
It was the Old Cigar Media Association was the cigar of the year that year. It was voted in. So it is an incredible cigar. There's nothing wrong with this cigar except it just gets lost for whatever reason. It's just gotten lost, and it's a masterpiece by Dion. Shame on me for letting it go this far too. So absolute steal you got with that one. Yeah, you got 1, 2, 3. You're going chalk here.
Yeah. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Holy cow.
Yep.
4 and 5 are still on the board.
Yep.
Oh no,
No,
you got
five.
4.
Five is on the board. 5, 9, and 10 from the top.
Yeah, because where did you put the what the tubo? What pick
It
was
was
that?
my fifth pick.
I need to do some rearranging here. Give me a second.
Yeah, it was my fifth pick. It's on the screen, but I don't know if you could. It's hard to see. I know sometimes.
I'm keeping track on my own board.
Yeah, that's what I
So
figured. That's what I figured. Yeah.
um okay. All right. I am I'm late to this party. Coop started it early,
Uh-huh.
but I'm late to this party a little bit. Um this brand uh ironically will be forever and always associated with both the old world and the new world.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically it is a new cigar in the old world.
Yep.
And it's just one of the most iconic brands out there. And right now on the new world side, it's represented and has an ambassador that's just incredible. But this isn't one of his cigars, of course, because I'm picking the Cuban edition of it. So we're gonna go with the Habanos Cohiba Esplendido.
Oh, yeah, good pick. I thought about that.
So that's gonna be my pick um for my next cigar. So um yeah, man, I mean, you'll see it here in a second. I had this above the Hoyo, thinking that I could steal it. I don't know why I thought I could steal it on the Cabanas side, knowing that how much you like the Hoyo de Monterey too.
Yeah.
But again, when you hear my criteria a little bit, um, and I have one exception on my list that follows the criteria that I built on. So,
Right.
but I actually enjoy the cigar too. I think this is a great size. The Esplendido is awesome. We talk about the inconsistency of Habano cigars, but when this cigar is fucking on, it's on, and it's fucking good. It's fire.
Oh yeah.
It's so good. But yeah, that's it. Let's go. What are you gonna steal from me next, Coop?
Well, I don't think I'm gonna steal anything from you with this pick. But getting down. Again, just to kind of give a little more Nicaraguan vibe to my list, I'm gonna go with the San Cristobal Revelation Legend.
Oh, God. God, man, I'm
Pepin,
crying. I'm crying inside. You've got fucking Pepin and Fuente all over the place. God bless it. Oh my gosh.
and Sayas. Oh,
Great pick, Coop. Great pick.
oh. Uh, this is tough now. All right. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Rocky Royale by 9.
Oh, thank God. I didn't want to have to take that cigar.
It's a good cigar.
It's a good cigar.
It's a good cigar. It's a
There's a
9 pick. It's
problem.
not. Yeah.
There's a problem with it though.
What's the problem?
It doesn't exist anymore.
This is where I know. That's the
And
problem.
it's a crying shame it doesn't
Yeah,
exist. It's his
and that
fault.
and there's a couple in this boat. Yeah, and I went with it saying, okay, I'm gonna. That wasn't criteria with me, but yeah, that was part of the struggle with a couple. And I think I know where you're going with this too. Yeah, but that's the problem with it. Yeah.
Oh God. God, my fucking big board's all fucked up now. All right. All right, so this is interesting. I didn't think I was gonna get this. I thought you were gonna get these two. Like I thought you were either gonna get it was gonna be one or the other. Like
Right.
one of
And
us would have these two, and the other one would have the Hoya de Monterrey.
right.
And that's kind of how it worked out. It's interesting that it's back to back. I didn't think I was going to get them. I thought you were going to take this last round. So my next pick is going to be also a Habano cigar. I'm going to go with the Monte Cristo Double Mundo.
Oh, I didn't think you were gonna take it. Oh, that's why I was holding up for 10.
Um,
Oh, okay.
I thought that's how I really thought this was how I was going to shake out. And you'll see my big board and why I thought that
Right.
way, because I was like, there's no way that all three are going to last this long as far as I had them down on the
Right.
board. And sure enough, I was right. Not all three of them did last, but it was going to shake out that way. Like one of us was going to grab the Hoyo, and then the other person was just going to grab the other two.
Right. Right.
I didn't think I was going to get them in separate rounds, though. I thought it was going to be a back-to-back pick, or you were going to get them back-to-back,
Yeah.
depending on how it shook out. So that's interesting. But the Monte Cristo brand, Cohiba brand. I mean, these are two of the most recognizable brands on the planet. I probably the only thing that's not on this list in terms of Habanos that's more recognizable is Romeo and Julieta, which isn't available at this point. So so there you go.
Yep.
There you go. So man, I've like my big board is so fucked up. So much like your Rocky Patel pick, I have another problem.
I know what your problem is,
But
and I'm gonna tell you why I didn't pick it. Yeah.
yeah, there's no way I was gonna let this cigar not get added to my list. I'm glad you didn't pick it early. I didn't think you were gonna pick it early. And turns out I was pretty right on where I had it in my big board, which is pretty cool. And the fact that I get it, which is nice. It's my favorite cigar from the brand all time. They need to bring it back. They need to not fuck it up because it's under new ownership now. So Justin, if you're fucking listening, bring it back. Don't fuck it up. I'm going with the Alec Bradley Mundial number 5.
If it was the number 4, I would have picked it. That was the only reason, because the number 4 stands out more. But that's the second best size.
Mm-hmm.
I had a feeling you I didn't know if you were gonna pick it because it was discontinued.
I could not. I just couldn't. I can't leave it. I can't leave it, Coop. And I couldn't take a chance that you were gonna take it this next round too.
No,
like,
I wasn't gonna, but yeah, it's a good pick. All right. This is pretty straight for me. What I'm gonna pick is I'm gonna pick the Monte by Monte Cristo there as my 10th.
Good. That's solid, man.
I like that pick. I like that cigar. There's some other ones that were on there that that's how it is. Yeah. So not there are 5 cigars. So this is the end of the Cigar Aficionado draft. So there are 5 cigars that did not make it. Number 1, the A. Flores 1975 Serie Privada Capa Habano SP52. Padilla Reserva Toro. Te Amo Revolution Robusto Ovaldo. Lagoria Cubana Serie R Esteli number 54. And the Nat Sherman Timeless Collection Churchill.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a couple of thoughts real quick. The A. Flores thing has changed so much, I couldn't put it on. Right? It was just too confusing. Padilla's all over the place as well. Te Amo, I like the cigar. I don't know how it was going to do in the vote with it because this blend was so polarizing. Right? So I like that cigar. I might have picked it, but I didn't. Lagoria Cubana Serie R Esteli is a solid cigar. It was between that and the Monte for me.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of a surprise that the Timeless Churchill Collection Churchill doesn't make it.
Yeah, man, it looks different now. It's it's still Timeless,
right?
But it's a different name, different
yeah,
owner.
A very good cigar.
Very good cigar.
Yeah.
Here, I'll pour on some lava here, man. There was no way in hell someone would have had to have gassed me to pick the Te Amo cigar. Was not going to make my list.
Why? Because you didn't like it, or didn't? I didn't think it was a bad cigar. It's just it wasn't gonna do popular in a vote.
We're gonna talk about my criteria in a second. Yeah,
Okay.
there's so many strikes against it. Yes, personally, I did not like the cigar.
Okay.
I don't even. I'm cigar Coop. I'm shocked that you said you liked it. I just did
I'm not
not
saying
like
it was the greatest cigar in the. I obviously didn't draft it, right? But I'm not saying it was the greatest. It wasn't a bad cigar as well. It wasn't a top 25 cigar. I'll say that.
it.
But it wasn't a
I'll
bad
say.
cigar.
I'll say. But look, I think that here's an idea. Here's a fucking $1 million idea. I think that Ernesto Padilla and Tony Bahani need to do a fucking podcast and talk about the greatest potential never being fulfilled. Like, I don't know what I don't know why, but Padilla's cigars seem to be a darling for the cigar aficionado team. They fucking love his stuff. But I don't even know who makes the cigars anymore. Does this cigar even exist anymore? I smoked Padilla back on the day, man. I loved his story. I hung out at the cigar shop where he used to roll up in his car and sell cigars out of his trunk. Like, I have a lot of history with that guy,
Oh,
and
when he makes a cigar, when he's on, he's on.
yeah. And so, dude, oh my gosh, him and Tony should do a fucking podcast. I'm serious. That's $1 million idea. Everyone in the industry would tune in. Marvin Shankin would tune into that fucking podcast. Wow. Yeah, there's $1 million idea for you. Tony, Ernie, if you're listening, Ernie, sorry about the unkind words. Ben, I loved your early stuff, man. You figure it out, man. I'm on board again because when you're on, man. I love you. I really do. I really do like his cigars. I love his story. I really do. But yeah, it just wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to put it on the list. I look at Abe Flores through a really interesting lens, historically speaking. We had him on the show, if you recall, when he was a guest. And I enjoyed that interview so much. It was such a wonderful trip down memory lane. This is a guy that I read about in a Cigar Press article way back in the day. I sent him my resume before I even got into the industry. Sent him my resume. And I mean, I loved him when he was Pinar del Rio, right? Before it was PDR,
Yep.
And he has made some of my more memorable smokes, man. When I've done some of those like humidor dives, I pick out some of his cigars and they're fucking phenomenal, man.
Oh, they are.
And they're great memories. They're great memories. They're great cigars. For me, this one was one of the most unmemorable cigars that he ever did. It could have been another cigar.
And the Maduro was better. Better than the bomb. Yeah, this one was not a memorable one. The broadleaf, the Connecticut River Valley broadleaf. See.
Oh god, the CVR. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, that was such a great cigar. The Flores E. Rodriguez 10th anniversary was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. This one, he reblended this cigar for a reason too. I hate to say it, because he ended up reblending it.
Yeah, there's some really cool memories with him.
Yep.
And his cigars. And this one was just one of the most forgettable cigars he ever made. Again, everything I've mentioned is better than the Te Amo. Everything on here. The Te Amo is the worst cigar on this list. I'm sorry. It just is. It's the worst cigar on this list.
It's one of the weaker ones on this list.
It is the weakest cigar group. Just let me have the moment. It's by far the weakest cigar on this list. La Gloria is probably the dark one. It's the shame.
It's a solid cigar.
It's the shame one that it didn't make it, right? It doesn't make the cut. It's not quite good enough to make the.
It should have made it. Yeah, I mean it's a shame. But something has to be left off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Timeless is a shame it didn't make it.
Yeah, Timeless is a shame too.
Yeah.
But overall, good stuff, man. So do I get the first wild card pick since you picked first?
Yes, you get the first wild card pick.
All right, cool. This is the only saving grace.
Yeah.
About the fact that you sniped the fucking Davidoff Nicaragua from me.
Right.
This is the only saving grace. So here it is, man. Here's my fucking wild card pick. Released in 2014. I'm going big baller, man. I am going, yes, sir. I'm going Davidoff Oro Blanco.
Davidoff Oro Blanco. Wait, would you say Davidoff Oro Blanco?
I did.
Was that 2014? Okay, yeah, I think it was.
2014.
Well, I couldn't have picked it anyway. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably. But you just handed me a gift, so I'm happy.
Then take
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Look, it's one of the best Davidoffs I've smoked. I would put it right up there with Year of the Snake as the two best I've smoked. Uh, it's look, you got me my yeah, you got me. Yeah, and it was Half Wheel's #1 cigar of the year in 2014. Yes. So absolutely good pick, Bear. Like I said, one of the best. If look, I know it's not a cigar everyone can smoke, but if you can get your hands on that cigar, get your hands on that cigar.
Let's
Absolutely.
go, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Go big
but
or go home, man. I got Davidoff Oro. I got the Oro Blanco and the Padron 50th on my list. Let's go.
all right. Well, Bear, you this I actually was listening to How About That Cigar last night, and this cigar somehow came up on the show. And I
Oh yeah.
knew, but I figured you were gonna grab it, right? But I couldn't chance it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason why the Nat Sherman Timeless wasn't picked by me as that 10th pick, because I wanted to see if I had any shot
I'm
at
giving you this cigar. It's on my list of wild cards, Coop.
Yeah,
I wanted you to have this cigar.
I appreciate it.
I
Uh,
wanted you to have this. This is a gift. You're right. It is a gift. I purposely did not pick this one.
Listen, I wouldn't blame you if you did, because it was by far the best cigar of 2014. With all due respect to the Oliva, head to head, this is the greatest cigar that this was put out by this brand, and the man behind it. And I'm talking about the Joel Sherman 75th
There you go. Former
celebration.
#1 soup
Yeah.
for
Uh,
cigar, Coop, man.
I
Good
I
job.
mean, people who know that cigar, uh, know that it is one but I couldn't chance it. That's why I couldn't chance picking Nat Sherman. I said I couldn't chance it because I said he may pick it with it, but I want a shot at it at least.
I wanted you to have it, Coop.
Oh, I
Frank.
appreciate it. So
I
yeah,
mean,
so
like
because
really,
under
I
the
really
rule,
wanted you to have it.
I couldn't pick a Nat Sherman. Same thing, I couldn't pick the Oro Blanco, right? So I picked that one. Limited cigar, I know, but it was memorable in every facet of things there. And that brings me to my final pick, right?
Oh, we're gonna snake it, or we're not gonna go 1-2, 1-2?
I
You want
thought,
to snake
do we
it?
snake it? How we do?
Your call, man.
What's
Your call.
what's fairer? I think we snake it because that's how we did it, right?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Boy, this is a tough one.
I'm getting one of my next ones, so it's all good.
Damn. 14. Just I didn't want to go limited again, but I think I'm gonna have to. You just can't get this one anymore either. Give me a second here. I want to confirm this. I'm sorry. All right. I'm gonna go Casada 40th anniversary Corona Classica.
Say that again.
Casada
I
40th.
thought you'd get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 40th, the Corona Classic. That was a #2 cigar for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go limited though. That's where I was kind of. I did pick two limiteds here, which I really didn't want to do, but it was.
So
It
it
was
was on my list. It was on my wild card list.
okay. I hope I didn't, because now I feel bad when you were asking the question about snaking. That's why I feel bad if I.
No, it's okay. No,
The other one, I'll tell you what the other one was when we're done, but I have a feeling I know which one you're picking.
All right. Here it is. I'm going full fucking fanboy. You ready for this shit?
Yeah.
Here it is. This cigar appeared on a Cigar Aficionado top 25 list at a shameful post position in the list. It was mid list. This cigar, without a doubt, should have been the #1 cigar of the year. It was released in 2014. Didn't
I know
appear
which
on
one
the
you're
list
going.
until
And this is the one. This is
2015.
the one. This is the one I debated about.
I'm doing the Espinosa Laranja
Yeah.
Reserva.
Yeah. Here's why I didn't pick it. You have a size?
Cigar de Toro.
Okay. Why I didn't pick it, and this is where I was agonizing. I had to double check. Kayaks is the one that put it over the top for me. And
Right.
Kayaks came out in 2015.
2015. That's right.
So I couldn't pick Kayaks. So yeah. So that's why I didn't pick it. But I had a feeling, okay, yeah, absolutely. That should be on it.
All right. So let's recap, and then I want to share my big board. I'll share my criteria. You can share if you have your big board. You can.
I
share
don't.
It, if not.
Yeah, mine is not shareable. It's on paper. So
Okay.
yeah. How about that pen and because I was doing it on the plane.
Nice.
Okay.
So
I had a feeling I was doing it even though we hadn't finalized the show yet. I put a couple of lists together. Yeah. All right. So
all right. Go ahead.
you want me to? Okay. So Bears list in order. Number 1, Padron Family Reserve 50 years Maduro. Number 2, Oliva Serie V Melanio Figurado. Number 3, Liga Privada. Number 9, Bellicoso. 4th pick, E Picadillo La Historia E3. 5th pick, Tatuai Habana 6 Red Label Artistas. 6th pick, La Flor Dominicanas Leo Gomez Diaz Lancero. 7th pick is Yeruzaloni Fume de Amor Clementes. 8th pick, Cohiba Esplendido. 9th pick, the Monte Cristo Double Edmundo. The 10th pick was the Alec Bradley Mundial number 5. And Bears 2 wild card supplemental picks. The Davidoff Oro Blanco and the Espinosa Oranja Reserva Toro. Solid list. The better list.
Fuck yourself.
The Fuente. Number 1, the Fuente Opus X Perfection X. Number 2, Davidoff Nicaragua Robusto. Number 3, Ashton ESV 22-year salute. Number 4, Diamond Crown Julius Caesar Robusto. Number 5, the Hoya de Monterrey Epicuro Especial. Number 6, the My Father number 3 Crema. Number 7, the Matilde Renaissance Corona. Number 8, San Cristobal Revelation Legend. Number 9, Rocky Patel Royal Toro. Number 10, Monty by Monte Cristo Hocopo. And the wild card supplemental picks, the Joel Sherman 75th anniversary by Nat Sherman, and the Casada 40th anniversary Corona Extra. Did I say it's not the Corona Extra? It's the Corona Classica. Corona Classica. Yeah, I always say that one. Yeah, I knew I'd know it. And there you have it. So these lists, we'll have this on Cigar Coop tomorrow. The contest opens tomorrow. Which is Wednesday, May 22nd. It will run for 1 week. And then at 1 week, I will randomly pick the winners. There will be the randomizer, as with all the contests with the randomizer. I will do the drawing on a wheel of names in Rumble, so people could see that. Now, why I do it on Rumble is because anything you do with tobacco on YouTube or Facebook's a problem, right? So Rumble is a safe place for that. There will be at least 1 prize pack given. Now, why do I say 1? I may give away another one. I want contest entries in here. Now, here's the thing: if you share this, you have a better chance of winning. Is what I'm just saying. So, if there are 23, let's say I usually set at 25 entries to add another one in there. If you're at 23, right, you have a 1 in 23 chance of winning. But if you share it and get a couple more people in, it goes to 26. It's 2 out of 26, which is 1 in 13. So your odds are going to be better each time I add something into it. So I have the ability to add into here with this contest. So,
Nice.
So yeah, definitely check that out. There's no wrong whether or not you pick. Bear, we should do a gentleman's bet. What do we want to bet here? Who gets more votes here?
You know, when you had your top 5, Coop, I really thought you had it. I think it's a lot closer now.
Yeah, I agree. I think you drafted stronger in the later rounds. I'm gonna agree with you on that. Yeah.
I think my fifth pick was a steal. Tatuaje at number 5.
Yeah.
Um, I think I got the fanboy vote, man. I got Tatuaje and I got Espinosa.
Yeah.
I
I
got
got
the
the old man
people
vote. Yeah.
I got the people who want a ball.
Yeah.
I got the Oro Blanco. I got the
Yeah.
Padron 50.
Yeah.
Um, you know, there's a lot of Oliva smokers out there, man. And then of course, man, I got Drew Estate. I
Yeah.
mean, I think I I think I got this, man. But you sniped a lot of my picks, and you'll see my big board here in a second.
All right.
You got a lot of great cigars that I wanted. Um, and I just misplaced them on the big board, and a lot of that I had to go into strategy of what I thought you were
Right.
gonna pick, and also kind of my own strategy too. Um, but yeah, what do you want to do? What do you want to wager? I think I
Uh,
got it. I really do. I think I got the edge.
we'll
But
see.
pretty close.
All right. If I win, you got to smoke a Gordo. Um, and if you win, I got to smoke a Lancero, and we can choose. We can pick something that's easily that we can get. This way, we don't have to ship the cigar. Well, you know what I mean. Yeah, you know what I mean. We do it that way is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So, I'll pick a Gordo that's accessible for you. Something that I would smoke. Same thing with a Lancero, something you would smoke.
Okay.
All right,
I'm
sound
down.
good? And we'll
Yeah.
do it on we'll do it on a show. Like we'll do it on a show. Whoever does that.
Sounds good.
I mean, I could say we could buy the cigar for the other person. We could do that too. I mean, it's just hard with the distance, is what I'm saying. So, we're constantly swapping cigars anyway, is what I'm saying. So yeah, let's just do it that way.
Cool.
All
I
right.
like it. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
And then I'll talk about my criteria after you go. Mine was probably less scientific than yours, but let me stop the share and let me give you ability to share on your end here. So you should have
Yep.
that now.
All right. So here's my big board. All right. So here's how it ended up being. I had the sheet. I had the 25. My big board was this. I had Padron at number 1, Fuente at number 2. I honestly thought I was going to get the Opus, especially after I found out I had
Right.
the second pick. Melania was number 3, so I went chalk. I went chalk all the way down according to my big board.
Right.
I mean, I did not reflex this at all. I adjusted based on what you were
I
picking.
thought I could steal Liga later, okay, from you. I thought I
Yeah,
could get. I didn't think I would get Davidoff Nicaragua pitch, but I thought Liga I can get later.
yeah. I think you and I were obviously thinking opposite. I thought you were going to take Liga early,
Yeah.
and I thought that's why I would have a chance at Davidoff Nicaragua.
Yeah.
I had EP Carrillo in there, so EP Carrillo is my only. As I'm sitting here smoking the fucking cigar, right? Is my only exception to my criteria. So my criteria was very simple. I wanted cigars that were as much as possible, right? Because as the list got thinner, we were picking from slim pickings a little bit
Right.
in terms of relevancy. I wanted relevant cigars. I went for relevancy, and I went for cigars that I actually really enjoyed as much as possible. Um, the biggest exception to the Melanio, I couldn't ignore it if it dropped to the number 3. It being the number 1 cigar of the year, it's like I said, it's an incredibly popular blend. It's incredibly relevant. It's incredibly stable at the top of this list year in and year out. You know, we say that about consistency. I probably enjoy it the least, the second least out of my top 5. But the EP Carrillo, I just couldn't ignore. I
Right.
just couldn't ignore it. I couldn't let it fall any further. Tatuaje, I thought I placed it perfectly. I ended up doing it. I wanted it at number 5. I got it at number 5. I figured that's where it was going to fall because I knew one of us were gonna pick some of this stuff that was in here. I thought I could. It was either going to be the Tatuaje or Diamond Crown. I was going to get either one. I didn't think I was going to get both.
Yeah.
And I got one of them, so that was good. the Lido Gomez, like I said, it was probably it's going to be it's going to be the cigar that really makes or breaks my list. Honestly,
I don't think it'll
um,
break your list. I don't know if necessarily will make it, but I don't know if it'll break it. I think you may get
yeah,
a month. It's a good cigar.
yeah. The My Father Crema is a classic. You know, um, it's not going to hurt me. It's not gonna wow anybody, but everyone's gonna look at that cigar on your list, Coop, and be like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm in. I'm
Yeah.
with it." Right? Illusione, it's like I said, it's fantastic. But as you kind of get down here, the relevancy gets less and less, and that's why I had look where Ashton. You had Ashton a lot higher. You helped my list considerably. That's why I was able to get some of the picks that
Why?
I got.
Why
Is
was
why I was able to
so?
get.
What was the deal? Why? I'm still confused. Why Ashton was?
It's not a relevant brand for them. You said it yourself. You told Andy, you had a conversation with Andy, bring it back, make
Bring
it
it
more
back, but
relevant. It's
but
not,
it was, but the blend is
it
great.
is,
Yeah.
the blend is great. It's
Yeah.
not relevant though.
But Foamy No More, I guess you could say that. I would have the same thing about Foamy No More.
Yeah, but more people talk more. The people that I feel like that will vote on these lists are more apt to smoke Louisiana than they are to smoke Ashton. Like it, love it, hate it, or whatever you
I
want to do it.
understand. I have
I
two
think
Ashtons on my list. Yeah. So
right. So that's the thing. I love the San Cristobal. I dropped it at the bottom. I thought I had a chance to get it at number 9 or number 10. I
right.
didn't. So, um, the and then I put the Cabanos near my bottom there, and I thought they were going to be late picks, and they ended up being late picks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, the incredibly recognizable, incredibly relevant brands. You can say, well, I don't smoke Cubans, but okay, well, you don't smoke Cubans. It's fine. Hector's probably going to vote for yours de facto because you only have one on your list.
Right.
So, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, to the average smoker, those two brands are recognizable. I'm gonna bank on that, and
Yeah.
that's fine. And I think the Monte Cristo Habanos is better than your Monte Cristo. Just plain and simple. Um,
It was. It was, but don't forget that was my last pick.
yeah,
I didn't. It was off the board by then.
yeah,
Because I would have taken it. I would have taken it. Is what I'm saying.
right.
So it
San
was off the board.
Cristobal,
Yeah.
yeah. Mundial, the Royale, Mundial and Royale. I'm gonna have the Mundial over the Royale. Again, that's my personal favorite. You know, it's one of my favorite cigars out of the entire list. Fucking love the Mundial. I like I said, shame on me, Enrique. I'm sorry I had you so low, man. I thought I could steal you.
Yeah.
I thought you would probably be my last pick, and I was wrong. So, shame on me. But great steal by you, Coop. I think it was a great pick.
Right.
Gloria, Nat Sherman, Abe Flores, Padilla, and of course the dreaded Te Amo there at the bottom.
The tail.
That's my big board, baby. Right there. My wild cards in no particular order, but I just had some fun ones that I had picked out here. Debonair Maduro was on there, an interesting
Yeah,
cigar.
I thought about it too, Debonair Maduro.
This was going to be my other pick. This was if I had a third wild card, that was going to be it. The Toronto Exodus, 1959, Fine Night, 2013. Fucking best cigar that Toronto ever made. You can argue with me. That's fine. It's okay. That cigar is incredible. Had your Joel Sherman 75th. I was going to give it to you, Coop. And I mean, I wasn't going to take it if I had two wild card picks. If you hadn't taken them, I wasn't going to do it to you.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Avo Limited 2004, the Avo 88 was incredible that year.
Really good cigar, yeah. It was the last of the before they changed it. Very good cigar. I bought a couple boxes of those, yeah.
The 94 Bierstein.
I thought about that one. I was considering it. It was under consideration. It was really limited though. The best cigar that La Flor Dominicana needs to bring back.
Davidoff Art Collection, Davidoff Fear the Sheep.
Oh,
I had those on there just kind
all
of
right.
misplaced.
Our collection, I had that from penciled in, but when I took Davidoff Robusto, it had to come off the board. But that was I had art collection as the one. If I didn't get a Davidoff to get it.
The dark horse in all of this, and it was a media darling that year. It was like a consensus top 2 or something like that. That one.
Yeah.
Senorio.
Yeah,
but again,
too long out of the market for a regular production.
Mm-hmm. That cigar was sensational.
Sensational, yeah.
Nailed it. That's
yeah. I agree. Awesome. I totally agree. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
And
that
just to fuck with you, I had a TAA cigar in there.
that TA wasn't making anything. Sorry, Pete. The TA wasn't gonna. I wouldn't do that to my people. Put a TAA cigar on it. Oh, that was a good TAA cigar, by the way. I will
Yeah,
say
it
that.
was.
It was. I'll say that.
Wasn't as good
Yeah,
as 2012, but it was
Finite was
damn
close.
fucking good.
Finite was close too. Uh, you know, but again, that's so. The problem is it was up against two really good limiteds that year. But yeah, like I said, I was toying with giving it to Laranja. But the problem was that it's the Caixa that was the one that did it for me, and I just didn't feel right about it. So that's a good job. Good job there. So we will get those posted. Sean Miles said something he will send the cigars to the loser, so we could talk to him about that. I don't want to put him through a lot of trouble here either. But we'll figure this out. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that is the first cigar draft for Primetime Special Edition into the annals of history. Hopefully folks like this and we'll want more of these. So like I think we do like when we do the Mount Rushmore, it's twice a year. I think this may be a twice a year type of thing we do it. We kind of didn't time it with a draft this year, but we'll figure that out. But I thought it went well.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yep. All right. All right. No, that's good. Hey, well, let's get into some other segments here as well. Let's just move this thing right along here. And we are going to get into our why is my notes not coming up now? Okay. Here they are. I have like multiple screens up here. That's not the right screen.
I'm gonna step away for just 1 second, okay?
All right. So yeah, while we're doing that, we are gonna prepare for our next segment, which I do have up now. It is our American history segment. And the American history segment, of course, is brought to you by Vintage Rockefeller Cigar Group. At Rockefeller Cigars, the journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to create an affordable luxury that transcends social boundaries. They wanted to offer a premium product that embodies the spirit of entrepreneurship while remaining accessible to the men and women from all walks of life. Inspired by the resilience of the American spirit during the Great Depression, the Rockefeller cigar stands as a testament to the unwavering determination and the pursuit of excellence. So we haven't done an American history segment in a while, and while Bear comes back, my goal here is every week to try to stump Bear with a American history topic. Sometimes I do it related to the topic of the show. Sometimes I do it related to a particular theme or a particular year. Other times I do this for I'll just kind of give him which one of these is true or false kind of things. We're gonna pick a thematic thing tonight. Is what we're gonna go with. We're gonna go with something thematic, and we will basically have we'll have Bear come back, and I'll talk about that. But while we're waiting for he's coming back right now, so I'm ready to mention it. Perfect timing, Bear. So Bear tonight, as he puts his headphones on, it's America. I picked a thematic topic tonight,
Okay.
and I think there's some multiple questions here. I think a couple of them are layups, and a couple of them are tougher. All right, and what we're going to talk about is the American highway system. In the U.S., which is the highways that we travel across. There's a rich history behind a lot of these highways, going back, and I wanted to see if Bear can get. I want to see if Bear can get these questions here. You ready?
Let's go.
All right. So we know today we're very much commonly we know the interstate highway system. As a kid, I actually learned the whole rationale behind the interstate system before there were even like internet. Like I learned it. A lot of it I just learned from just being on road trips with my parents and stuff. And then there was minimal information even in the libraries on this. But I did learn the system. But before before the interstate system, there was the United States numbered highway system. And my question to you is, what was the United States numbered highway system?
Well, you're right. It does have the United States numbered highway system has an interesting history.
Yes.
From my recollection of it. So, it's in essentially a network or web of roads and highways that are shocking, have numbers attached to them that are part of they're all conjoined. So it actually is an interstate web. But the numbers are specifically picked to these highways,
Right.
And coordinated and made within the states. So they were actually the federal. They were called federal highways, I believe, but
The federal highways. Yep.
Yeah. But they were specifically, I don't know if they were specifically built. They are definitely maintained. They were specifically maintained and have been from their origin by the states. Can't remember if the federal government built them or not.
The states maintain them.
Yes, the states
Yeah,
maintain them.
the federal built them, and the states maintain them.
Yeah, and this was part of an act in, I believe it was 1925, 1926.
Well, you got the next question right. It was 1926. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Um.
So let me ask you one question. What's one big difference between the United States numbered highway system, which are the black and white signs, and the interstate system, which are the red, white, and blue signs?
Well, traditionally speaking, with the exception of some loops, like 820, that's a loop around the DFW Metroplex, for example. Traditionally speaking, interstates, the interstate system are in 5s and 0s. So Interstate 5, for example, goes north. All the 5s go north to south. All the 0s, like I-10, for example, go east to west or west to east.
It's actually odd and even, is the way it goes.
Yeah, odd and even.
But the 5s and the 0s are the most transcontinental.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, the difference is well, that was going to be my point. Is I thought the difference between the interstates, I mean, as much as possible, these highways are very straight. Interstate wise, the numbered highway system, they're all over the fucking place. So again, the web is kind of the metaphor. So like the lowest numbers, for the numbered system, the lowest numbers, I think the lowest numbers are in the east. It goes east to west. Yeah, so lowest in the east, highest in the west. And then the lowest up north and the highest in the south, right?
For the U.S. numbered highway system, and then the north south is opposite with interstate.
Yeah.
All right.
And generally speaking, I believe the numbered system, the north to south ones, end in a 1. And then major, like the east to west, typically end in a 0. If I'm correct.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something about, I know that there's 3-digit ones and stuff like that.
3 digits are the 3-digit interstates are offshoots for the most part. Not always, but most of the time they're offshoots off a double-digit one. So right. So, or loops. There's some weird ones, but there actually is a more of a major difference. You're right on everything you said. The other difference I would say point out is interstates are all limited access roads. The U.S. federal highway system is not all limited access roads. Some are limited access, but just about every interstate, unless it's like designated a business interstate, it's all limited access, meaning there's exits and entrance ramps.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. No, you did good with that. I'm gonna give you the whole one with that because you were pretty much on the target with that one. Who was the president that created the interstate system and what year was it passed? I think you know this one.
The federal one,
Mhm.
the U.S. Oh,
No,
that's
the
easy.
interstate, the interstate. Now I'm going with the
Right, the
interstate.
second one, right?
The
Yeah,
second one, which is the next generation following. Yeah,
red, white, and blue. Yeah, that's
yeah.
easy. That's Dwight Eisenhower. Of
You know what year it was?
course, it's 1956.
Yeah, bingo. All right, so I got two other questions for you, Bear, on this.
You know where I learned that for the first time?
Where?
Here's a fun fact for nobody who gives a shit. Fun fact: I learned that for the first time, not from a book. I read that of a sign at a rest stop just outside of Little Rock, Arkansas, when I was in high school.
Interesting.
At the most beautiful rest stop I've ever been to in my entire life.
Listen, there
Everyone
are some
talks about
beautiful, there are
everyone.
great rest
Everyone,
stops in the country.
yeah, everyone talks about Buc-ee's having the cleanest bathrooms. There's a rest stop outside of Little Rock, Arkansas, that's on the federal highway system. It's on I-20. It is the fucking most gorgeous rest stop. Beautiful trees around it, cleanest restrooms you've ever seen in your life, and it is fantastic. So, fun fact. But that's where I learned about. That's where I learned that
Right.
fact for the first time.
Right. Now, some of our roads bear toll roads. Okay.
Okay.
And I want to know the first toll highway in America. And I'm going to throw a hint at you. This is pre-automobile.
Oh, yeah, I know that one. So that was just that was actually a post-revolution, post-American Revolution.
Yep.
So it's the fuck was it called? It was in oh fuck. Oh, I know this. I know this. Hands are up, not googling. Fuck.
I mean, the horse and buggies had to pay.
Yeah. Oh God. The fuck was it called? It was a turnpike. It was called a turnpike.
Yes.
I know this. I know this, Coop. I fucking know this. It was right after the American Revolution. It was before. It was before. It was before Washington's inauguration, though. 1797.
It was actually a little after the inauguration.
No, it was a little after. No, yes. Oh God, it's 92 or 93. 1792.
Yes. 1792 is correct.
And turnpike.
If you give me the
Something.
region,
It's
I'll
something
get.
in it's something in Lancaster Turnpike.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
Pennsylvania. No, because it wasn't a state.
You're halfway there. The Lancaster
It's
is in the
city,
name.
right? It's Philadelphia, Lancaster Turnpike.
Yes,
right?
that is correct. Good job. That is yes. That was the first toll road in the US before like highways.
Horse and buggy.
Yeah.
Yeah, horse
and buggies, yep. Now, here's where I'm gonna go. This is a little tough for this one, but I think you may be able to get it. So let's go to this now. The deals with limited access roads, which was started up actually before the interstate system. And again, limited access roads are the ones with exit and entrance ramps.
Right.
This was the first limited access toll road for automobiles with the exit and entrance ramps in the U.S. What was it?
It's the same area, right?
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Is it the Pennsylvania Turnpike?
It is correct. It was considered the super highway. It was a big deal. The Pennsylvania Turnpike is a big deal in the history of these. Yeah.
Right.
Yep, the Pennsylvania Turnpike.
Don't ask me the year. I have no fucking idea.
It was 1940. It was 1940. I didn't think you'd know. I didn't know if you'd get this one. But yeah, the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Yep. Is it's interesting because growing up in New York City, the Turnpike referred to the New Jersey Turnpike. That was called the Turnpike.
Yeah, bridge and tunnel, man.
If you were going to If you were taking the Pennsylvania Turnpike, that was the PA Turnpike. And a little known fact, for many years, there was a highway called the Connecticut Turnpike, which was I-95 through the state of Connecticut. But they pulled the toll booths out in the 80s. That used to be a paid highway, but they got rid of the tolls.
You want to know a fun fact about roads?
Mm-hmm.
The first road ever constructed for cars still exists today. Not a highway, the first road ever constructed for automobile usage still exists today. It's still used today. It's not for cars, though. It's a bike path. Any guess?
Bike path.
I figured you would know this, man, because like you used to ride bikes.
I do, but I don't know the bike roads. I got to be honest with you. Oh, I should know this.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
You ready? It's the Long Island Motor Parkway.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the it was the first road ever constructed specifically for automobile use, and it's now a bike path.
Yes, if I brain farted on it. You are right.
Did you ever ride it?
I never rode it. I've rode the 5 boroughs, but I never rode out Long Island. For most of my biking, you know, I biked a lot when I was in Staten Island because Staten Island had some big hills in Staten Island. There's 2 hills. One's called Toad Hill, one's called Grimes Hill, and the Staten Island Expressway goes right in between the 2 of them. They are 2 very difficult hills to climb. So you had your set of climbing on Staten Island for sure. Toad Hill was famous for a lot of wealthy people and alleged organized crime people. Grimes Hill was more famous for college campuses. It had Wagner College and St. John's University used to have a campus there, and that's where my wife went. I found out recently St. John's closed the campus on Staten Island. I just found that out recently. So.
Oh man, Red Storm.
But those were hard areas to bike. So and in fact, Toad Hill on the eastern seaboard is the highest point on the eastern seaboard, and that's literally when you say eastern seaboard, you're right by the ocean. You got to keep in mind.
Yeah.
So there's a guy who has a house, and in the middle of his house is a plaque in the floor that says this is the highest point on the eastern seaboard.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's actually in his. I don't know. It's I don't know if it's in his garage or kitchen or something. But there's literally. I've seen the pictures of it. He actually has a plaque of the exact point where it is.
That's fun. That's cool stuff.
Yeah.
You know why what the impetus was for creating the interstate system in 1956?
I should know this.
Well, it was because well, first of all, automobile. I mean, you think that post World War II, automobiles became.
It was
more
some of the
popular.
military, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because now with the GI Bill, people were coming.
Yeah.
GIs were coming home with more money. They were traveling more. They were settling up in different homes for the first time in human history. Really, the average human, the average person, actually, their distance from home that they lived, from the place they were born, actually jumped to historic highs. Now, we're not talking about a monstrous amount of like miles, because I think the average is still only like it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 30 or 40 miles, which is still remarkable when you think about it. But at the time, it jumped from something like 5 miles to 15 miles, literally overnight after World War II.
Right.
And it's because of this transcontinental travel. And people think, oh, well, after post World War II, that's when cars became more accessible. That's actually not true. Post World War II was not the most popular time to own a car. The most popular time to own a car was actually pre-Great Depression. Almost every family in America had an automobile.
Interesting.
And this is pre 1960. This is like before the halfway. So and then so you start getting after the interstate system, after the internet, the 1956 Federal Interstate Act was put into effect by Eisenhower. That's when you saw the second boom.
I thought
it wasn't because of it.
Right.
highway system actually led to the great car boom, where you started seeing you jump from a car per household to now a car and a half, and then today it's 2 cars
Yeah.
per
See,
household.
I thought though Eisenhower saw the Autobahn in Germany, and he was
Correct.
inspired to recreate
Correct.
it, but then he
Hmm.
felt they needed, in case this is why I thought there was a military thing. Is I thought in case there was an attack, they needed to be able to move things on the ground quicker than they were, and they realized that the
Correct.
federal highway, the U.S. system was inadequate, which is why the interstates are all limited access today.
Correct. So there were 2 points of emphasis with the
Yeah,
creation of it. So there was military strategy, because again, this is like Red
yeah,
Scare territory. There was military strategy, but there was also long-term consumer usage
yeah,
is what he was looking at. And he was actually a visionary for this point, because if you think about it,
yeah.
the federal highway system has impacted everybody's life to this point. Everybody's life to this point. There's not a person in the United States, unless you were born today
Yeah.
or yesterday, that has not traveled on a major US highway.
No, and in fact, most of the population lives near a major interstate highway.
Correct.
It's amazing. I look at all the places I've lived, um, in my life, and I've moved around quite a bit. I don't think I was ever more than 2 to 3 miles away from an interstate. I'm thinking the neighborhoods in Brooklyn, uh, to Staten Island. I think Staten Island, there was one point maybe I was about 5 to 6 miles away.
Right.
No, 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 yeah, I was. There was one point in Staten Island. That was probably where I was the furthest away. When I lived in New York State, I was near interstates. New Jersey, I was near interstates, and North Carolina, I'm near interstates. So at some point, yeah,
It's also it's also hospitals too. Um,
yeah,
it's something outrageous. It's like 99 point something percent
yeah,
of all hospitals are within 3 miles of a U.S. federal interstate.
yeah. I could believe that. It's
So again,
yeah, and,
so
and
it's a healthcare issue.
yeah,
It's a military strategy issue. But again, long term visionary, he had it envisioned as a consumer aspect
yeah.
too. So,
No, it was good. It was good. Like I said, I think it's an important part of our history.
and we haven't even touched on the trucking aspect, right? The
No, yeah,
Teamsters aspect of it. I mean, the whole Jimmy Hoffa, you know,
yeah,
thing. I mean,
yeah,
just shit, dude. I mean, the gross net the GDP of America went from trains, and like literally still to this day, it's 2024, and a larger portion of our nation's gross domestic product is shipped via the U.S. highway system, is transported via the U.S. highway system versus air,
yep,
and certainly versus train.
yeah,
So there was this huge shift, and even though we're talking 60, 70 years later, um, our gross domestic product is actually still transported as a majority via car, via truck, via the highway system. Pretty great.
amazing,
Great, great.
amazing.
So,
All right.
fascinating stuff here. You guys should be riveted.
Yeah, I had to pick something, but I said, let me pick something. Let me
No,
see.
this
I
is
could,
good. This is good.
yeah,
It threw me for a fucking loop.
of course. I mean, I had to get you something a little harder. But you did very well. I would say you get a passing grade for this week's American History segment. So, you were not stumped by any means. So, that's our American History segment, always brought to you by our friends at Rockefeller Cigars. We now turn to our next segment, which is our Espinosa This Day in Sports History. And of course, that's brought to you by Espinosa Cigars, makers of award-winning brands such as 601, Espinosa, and Knuckle Sandwich. Smoke Espinosa every day, and get into a La Zona state of mind. All right. Um, so, um, I got one of you got three, of course, right?
Right.
All right.
You know me, man.
So All right. Okay. I know two of these, I think. All right. But well, I'll go with mine first.
Okay.
So I think you'll get there's a two-part question here,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm more curious to see if you can get the second part of the question, right?
Okay.
In 19, oh, so let me start this. All right, I'll say, no, I want to do my comment at the end because I want to give nod to my dad here at the end on this. So in 1977, this horse dominated and won the Preakness. Who was that horse?
Not only did he win the Preakness, he won the Triple Crown that year.
Yes.
Most people want me to say Secretariat. That wasn't 77.
Was it? No.
It's Seattle Slew, 1977 Preakness winner.
Yeah. John Cooper was we were at my grandfather's house. This is like I want to say March or April, right? And there's like my grandfather was a huge horse racer because they all bet the horses, right? And there was a Flamingo Stakes was being televised. Like in New York, they tell
at the OTB, man.
this was in the house. We weren't even at the OTB with this one because they already placed
Okay.
their bets at the OTB, right? So they were watching it at home. My dad says my dad was more into the actual horse race, and my dad turned to his father and me, and he says, "This Seattle Slew is going to be the next Secretariat." And my grandfather, like, "You're nuts." He's like, "Nope, going to win the Triple Crown." And my dad was right. My dad knew that, which was amazing. So, I mean, I would say, but here I want to see if you can get. Do you know who finished second in the Preakness and third in the Preakness that year? And if you can get one of them, I'll be impressed. And there's a reason why I'm.
Yeah,
I want
I
to see.
think I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
yeah,
Yeah, it's well because the third place winner, the show place winner that
yeah.
year, was trained by one of the most renowned, iconic trainers in the history of the sport, and that was Smiley Adams was the trainer.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Yep. Yeah.
I can't remember. Ironically, I can't remember who. I don't remember the jockey. Uh,
The jockey's
uh,
hard to get, by the way. I wouldn't have
yeah.
known it without looking it up.
John Krugot, or Kruget, I can't remember how to pronounce it, but Jean Kruget,
See how slow.
wrote Seattle Slew, but
Yep.
can't remember. But the show place winner for the Preakness, I believe he was like 8-1, 7-1, or something to win. So I mean, it wasn't terrible odds. But it was.
You know it.
I'm talking with such confidence now. It
You know this one.
is it Dusty Run Dusty or Run Dusty Run?
Run, Dusty, run.
Run Dusty Run.
Run, Dusty, run. Who
Yeah.
finished in the money in all three races.
In all three races.
Yeah. He was
Smiley
second.
Adams, baby.
He was second in the Kentucky Derby and the Belmont.
Yeah.
And third in the Preakness. But in the Belmont, Seattle Slew ran out in front so early, and everyone thought that Seattle Slew was going to get worn down and didn't. So, and Run Dusty Run was third. Do you know the second place was? The second place was much tougher.
I'll compare. So if you want to look back in history of racing, Run Dusty Run's, again, all pun intended, run for those three races is very similar to the Derby Preakness run of Bodemeister in 2012, when he went up against I'll Have Another, which is my favorite horse in the last 25 years, outside of American Pharoah and watching the Triple Crown. I'll Have Another was my fucking favorite horse to watch. I mean, that horse, that the Preakness specifically in 2012 one of the best races I've ever seen in my life. I mean, down the wire, great run. If you seriously YouTube it, 2012 Preakness, I'll Have Another, and you're just like, how he's going to win, right? Because I mean, spoiler alert, he wins. But I'll Have Another, I mean, it's just, I mean, oh God, it's wire to wire by the nose right at the end, sneaks past Bodemeister. It's fucking great race. Sorry, I'm not stalling, I promise.
It's a hard one. It's very hard. That's why.
Well, it was a long shot. He was a long shot.
And it's the only time it was the only of the three races he raced.
Yeah. I think he was something like 35, 38-1, something like that. to win.
Yeah.
It was a long shot. But a really fucking cool name. Um, if it's the horse I'm thinking of, but a really fucking cool name, and especially I'm a history buff, so you gotta love it. It was Iron Constitution.
Yes. Yeah, that's correct.
So here's the interesting thing about that: the Preakness, Coob. The three horses that placed, win, place, and show, Seattle Slew, Constitution, Run Dusty Run. Their pole positions were right next to each other.
Yes.
And they were exactly where you want to be. If you want to fucking win a race, man, you don't want to be on the ends, man. It's like one of the hardest things to do. You
Yeah,
don't
I
want to
mean,
be
like,
one, or you don't want to be
and
in. You
Jack
want to be right
Serrano
in the
always
middle.
cautions me about that when I make these picks, and he's right every time. Yep. Yeah, they were right. They were right. Run Dusty Run, from what I remember, was at the outer edge. Seattle Slew
It was
was
on
one
the outer
over.
edge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Seattle Slew was in the middle. Iron Constitution was in
yeah.
the inside.
Now I don't remember this, but I really watched a lot of horse racing history and stuff like that. So like that's how I know this. It's not that I remember this as being 10 years old.
I wasn't alive, for
Yeah,
people who are wondering. So yeah, I'm 40
yeah,
years old.
yeah.
I was born in
They
1983. I was born in
yeah,
1983. I was 40 years old. This was
yeah,
1977. This was
yeah,
before my sister was
yeah.
born.
I mean, I will tell you that the greatest horse race I watched on TV was the two greatest horse races I watched were between the same two horses. It was you probably know what it is. Sunday Silence and Easy Goer.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Preakness, where Sunday Silence won both races, and the Breeders' Cup Classic, which which were the two greatest races ever run in my life. Best. I mean, everyone talk affirmed in Alidar, but Sunday Silence and Easy Goer was a better rivalry.
That 95 Derby Thunder Gulch, man. That was a good run too.
Yeah. I've been to the
Um,
Belmont. I've been to the Belmont. I've never been to Kentucky Bury. I've been to Pimlico. I've been to the Preakness once.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was planning on going to the Derby this year. I had been planning it for years. Life
Yeah.
kind of gets in the way, unfortunately. But this was the 150th running of the Derby, and I had been planning.
I know you and I actually mentioned possibly at one point. Yeah. But I knew things got in the way with life and everything with people. Yeah.
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 So, I'm gonna go to the 155th. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. You know,
It's not the
I will
150th.
say this: go to Belmont if there's a shot at a Triple Crown. If you can't, but it's tough because you got to plan that. You know, it's obviously you have 3 weeks to plan, but I've never seen it. But the Belmont is something special when the Triple Crown's on the line. It's a
Uh,
beautiful. It's underrated. I think it's the nicest, by the way, of the three tracks. And I think people, Belmont's by far the nicest of the three. It's kept
yeah.
up the nicest. It's not the sexiest, is what I'm saying. It doesn't have the same pageantry as the Kentucky Derby, but it is the best track. Trust. It's not the best track in the country, but it's the best track of the Triple Crown once.
Yeah, so the year that American Pharoah won the Triple Crown, so I used to work at Michael's Tobacco, as everybody knows, and
Yeah.
everybody, all my customers, the staff, Mike, Tracy, all them, they knew that I was the horse guy, and they would every year they would indulge me, man, and I was working because it was a Saturday. It's always a Saturday, and I worked every Saturday, and they would always indulge me, man. I would sit and I would watch, and I didn't work. I wasn't working for for those 2 minutes, but I would watch every single race. But the year that American Pharoah won, I didn't talk about it then. I'm still not going to mention their name. But after American Pharoah won the Preakness, a customer offered to fly me to Belmont to attend Triple Crown.
Oh man.
I had a young son at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's tough.
Just couldn't make
Yeah.
couldn't make it work. So
Yeah.
um, but that was one of the most generous offers.
Yeah.
Wish I could have taken him up on it.
Yeah.
But I got to see American Pharoah
Yeah.
win the Triple Crown in Michael's Tobacco Buells.
I had my heart broken at the Belmont 20 years ago. So, like any Philadelphia sports fan, you want a championship, right? Along comes Smarty Jones. This horse becomes the best chance of Philadelphia.
That was 20 years ago. Shit.
It was
Oh,
so I'm like, I'm going to the Belmont, right? And it was, yeah, I went to the Belmont and I just said, I'm going to jinx this one. I know it, right? And friggin' Birdstone, I think Birdstone was like, I don't remember what the odds were for Birdstone, but it paid like $75 to win.
Yeah,
Let's put it like that.
$75 to
It
win.
was
Yeah,
like
it was
Smarty, and
for a
there
$2
was,
bet. It was a
oh
$2 bet.
yeah, it was something crazy like that, right? Um, but I want to say Birdstone was like 40 to 1. It was it was it was like this one of the longest shots. Friggin'
Yeah, it was
birds.
akin. It was akin to Mind That Bird. The one when Mind That Bird won the
Yeah,
Derby that year.
mine that yeah. Uh, but I've been to a few, Belmont Stakes is over the years, and I've been in there's just it's a great, like I said, even there's some I've been to where it wasn't the Triple Crown, but it is a great race to go to. It is obviously I wish you could have went, but there's just some fantastic races. I can tell you the one I went to, you know, what was it like? I didn't get to go to I did not get to go to I didn't get to go to the Easy Go or Sunday Silence one. I was actually moving that weekend, so I did not get to go to that one. The what was it? Colonial Fair won, and that was I remember that one I saw win. And that was pretty much a big upset that year too. That was 93, and that was the female jockey that won that, Julie Chrome.
Right.
So that was a pretty cool thing to get to see that. Uh, and then Point Given wins it in 2001. I saw that one, and then of course Birdstone breaks my heart.
Oh man, fucking Smarty Jones, man.
Marty Jones.
God,
So
that
it
was a
was
good one.
like
That was a good
you
horse.
you had to be in Philadelphia when that was going on. It was a big deal. This was, you don't understand what a big deal. It was a huge deal in Philadelphia. Like everyone, like, because they hadn't won a championship since the Sixers.
Yeah.
So they were desperate. They were desperate that day. And everyone got behind this horse, and it just I never said the air. You want to talk about air getting sucked out of a city? Uh, Now the other thing that happened, the other thing that happened was on that day, on the day while we were going to the Belmont Stakes, what happened on June 5th, 2004? We're gonna put your history hat on. There's a big thing happened that day. We were listening to the
What day?
radio as what?
What day? What
June
2004?
5th, 2004. And it put kind of a somber note to the day in a lot of things. Someone died that day. Ronald Reagan.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So that was
God, 2000. That was 2004. Shit.
hmm June 5th.
He's been gone 20 years.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
It's been 20 years? Shit.
Yep. It happened that day.
God, dude, Jimmy Carter's gonna outlive everybody, dude. He's gonna
Yeah.
outlive me.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Yeah. So it was kind of a depressing day overall. Uh, but yeah. All right. So that was our this day in sports history. Oh no, we got your question. I'm sorry. We gotta go to your
Oh, like,
question.
yeah,
Oh, I forgot about. I'm sorry about that. We talked so much about this. So yeah.
it's racing, man.
Yeah.
I'm with it all day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So, all right. Ali,
Ali.
Muhammad Ali in 1966. Um, TKO's this this boxer
Okay.
on May 21st.
That would be Cleveland Williams.
No,
Not Cleveland Williams?
no,
He TKO'd him, right?
yeah, 66.
It's not Cleveland. Cleveland Williams got what round was it?
No, so six.
It
In the
wasn't
sixth
Cleveland was
round.
earlier. Okay, Cleveland was earlier. God, it's not Patterson. He was TKO, but he got TKO'd
Yeah,
in the
yeah, it wasn't Floyd Patterson.
what was for Patterson? Boy, I don't
You're a
know this one.
boxing guy, man. I thought you had this one nailed.
I
Sorry,
don't have this one. I gotta be honest with you. This is tough. Any more hints?
uh, I mean, he wasn't a prominent boxer, really. I mean,
Okay.
comparatively speaking, when you talk about like, because like Liston, if this show had been on the 25th, we would have done the Liston. We would have
Right.
done Liston. It's not Liston, not Floyd Patterson, not
Corey was
Cleveland
later.
Williams.
Corey was much later
Mm-hmm.
than 60. It wasn't Cleveland Williams. I don't know. I'm having tough with this one. Not Bonavena. That was much later. I'm stumped on this one.
He's British.
Oh, Henry Cooper.
Boom. There
Yeah.
you go.
Okay. Henry Cooper was Henry Cooper actually interesting guy. Yeah, actually he had it's very interesting. He fought Ali before. He had fought Ali before, I believe.
Yeah.
And was beaten. This was before Ali won the title. He was beaten pretty bad. Ali went to Wembley to fight him. But the Henry Cooper defense, I believe, was also at Wembley. It was in England as well. Interesting.
All right.
That was a tough one.
So we're gonna go in order here. I didn't put them in order on the rundown, but
Okay.
we'll go 1979. What team in what league captured their fourth consecutive championship?
It was the NHL Stanley Cup, and it was the Montreal Canadiens beating the New York Rangers. And I believe they won
Montreal
five. I believe they won
Canadiens.
it in 5 games. That was a big deal, that
Okay.
series.
4 games.
It was a sweep. Okay.
It was a sweep.
So the big deal that
Oh,
year.
no, oh yeah, no. Sorry, 4 games. What? It wasn't game 5. Yeah,
Okay.
You're right. Sorry.
So it was a big deal because the Islanders had become the dominant team in New York.
Yeah, they won
And
back to back in 80 and 81.
they won 4. They won 4 after that. They won 81,
Yeah,
82, 83, 80 to 83 they won. But the Rangers knocked them off in the semifinals that year and went to play Montreal. So that was a big deal in New York when that happened. So yeah. Yeah, Montreal Canadiens. And that was I remember that. Guy Lafleur.
So
Yep.
was going with your sports here, man.
Okay.
All right. So I went boxing. I went hockey. Now I got to go baseball. 1997. This pitcher earned his 200th victory on this day in 1997.
Maddox.
No.
No.
It's ironic because he was pitching for a team and he beat a team he pitched for for his 200th win.
Did he win 300?
Yes.
Pedro Martinez.
No.
No. That's too early.
Yeah, it's too early for Pedro.
So, but he won 300 and he pitched for.
While you're thinking about that, we're gonna grab another water here.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking of that one. Wow, that's a
It's
tough
fucking
one.
90 today in Texas, Coop. 90.
Yeah.
90 degrees. Jesus.
All right. Well, all right. Randy Johnson.
No.
No. Wasn't Glavin.
Wasn't Glavin.
Definitely wasn't Clemens. It wasn't Clemens. Clemens had already won 200. Not Clemens, right?
It was Roger Clemens.
It was Roger Clemens. Okay, good job.
As a member of the Toronto Blue Jays, he beat the New York Yankees for his 200th win.
When did Clemens retire?
2004.
Because he got to
No.
350. He got to 350. That's why I was kind of. But he had a lot of wins those last years. He racked up the wins like after when he came to the Yankees.
Oh no, he pitched shit. Clemens pitched 2007. My bad.
Yeah,
Damn.
he hit some. So yeah, because he
Yeah,
racked up the
2004. Yeah, 2004 was his first year with Houston. I just looked
yeah
that up.
yeah yeah. That's remember he retired. So in the Yankees, and he went to Houston. But he remember he came back to the Yankees for 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
and he was
with a glorious 4.18 ERA, man, 6-6 record.
yeah. But remember,
Jesus.
but he had that 1.87 that year with the Astros.
Yeah,
I
he
don't,
had the 1.87.
yeah
The Astros.
yeah
Sick.
yep.
And didn't fucking win the Cy Young. He won it the previous year with Houston, his first year with Houston.
He won it with the Yankees in 2001, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He won 2 Cy Youngs in Toronto with his only 2 years in Toronto. He won a Cy Young in 91 with Boston. He won a Cy Young in Boston in 87. He was the MVP in 1986 with Boston.
Yep. He won in 87, right? He won in 87 again. Well, not the
Won in
MVP.
87. Yeah, 87. He won the Cy Young. So he won MVP, Cy Young MVP in 86, Cy Young in 87.
Yep.
Cy Young in 91. Cy Young in 97 and 98. Cy Young in 2001 and Cy Young in 2004.
Okay.
Fucking A, man.
Yep.
24 years.
Yep. Good job.
24 wins in 1986. 2.48 ERA.
Dominant year. It was like everyone thought Dwight Gooden was going to be the next great one. And Clemens comes along and, obviously eclipses his career.
18 complete games in 1987. Son of a bitch.
You'll never see that again, yeah.
Never.
I mean, he went 14 complete, I think, as well, 1 year.
Yeah.
What was he? He had 1 year, he had 8 shutouts. That would never happen.
Yeah, in 88. He had
Yeah.
7 shutouts in 87, 8 shutouts in 88.
Yep.
4 in 90, 4 in 91, 5 in 92. So 3 years in a row, he led in shutouts, 4, 4, and 5. 3 shutouts in 97 led the league. 9 complete games led the league in 97.
Yeah.
Look at that drop off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
Amazing. So I got one of the 3. That was a tough one. It was tough. Good job. Good job. So that is our Espinosa This Day in Sports History segment. Let's go to our Alternate USA. Great things are happening here segment. And as always, I just want to mention again, brought to you by Alternate USA. Elevate your humidor with Alternate USA cigars. Explore top-rated classics like the H. Upman Banker Day Trader, Trinidad Spiritu Series Number 1, Monte Cristo 1935 Anniversary Edition Diamante, and the Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua Sonata. all boasting a stellar 93 rating from Cigar Aficionado. Light up, relax, and savor every puff of excellence. So we got, of course, this is where we do great things are happening here. Where we do some good news stories. It's been a while since we've done these. So I'm kind of glad we're gonna be getting back into this here. And I guess Bear, do you want to start it or you want me to start it?
I'll start it this year.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, mine's gonna be quicker, that's why. So yeah, I think that's why we'll go with yours.
Cool. You want to show it?
I am gonna show it, to just give me a minute to bring it up. This one I have to pull up on this computer. So, all right. This is a cool story, by the way.
Yep. So on March 7th of this year, in 2024, a woman affectionately known as Miss O, Lillian Orlick of Virginia, who taught in Prince William County for 67 years.
Wow.
For 67 years. She retired at the age of 89. Okay. So on March 7th, she passed away. And her will, went through probate and everything. And the story was released just a couple of days ago. That in her will, she left $1 million to the Prince William County schools. It's funny to think about. The story talks about how teacher $1 million. How the hell did she have $1 million? She must have been married rich or anything like that. She never married. And interestingly enough, for a woman who dedicated her life to children, she never had any children of her own. And according to the article, she lived a pretty frugal lifestyle, so a woman could save a buck. So yeah, $1 million goes to Prince William County schools. She spent most of her career apparently at a school in Manassas, just outside of Washington, D.C. at Osborne High School. By the time she retired, the students and her colleagues had become, obviously her family. So she once told the Washington Post before retiring that she had no living relatives, and she said these were her relatives, referring to the students and staff that she taught alongside. Dude, she probably taught grandchildren.
Right.
Maybe even potentially great grandchildren. So interesting enough, this is a nice little correlation. So my son's in second grade. He's about to go into his third grade year.
Right.
My oldest. And when he transferred to the school that he's now at, halfway through his kindergarten year, he got assigned to a teacher, Miss Dinkins, who was absolutely wonderful. She was a wonderful woman, is a wonderful woman. She's still teaching. She's been teaching at that school for over 30 years. And Jeremiah had a classmate whose father had been taught by Mrs. Dinkins. And Mrs. Dinkins, in her first year of teaching, taught little Robert's grandfather.
Wow.
So she taught 3 generations. She has taught 3 generations for at least one person, one family. That's pretty cool.
That is.
So, but back to Miss Orlick. So it's good. The $1 million is expanding on a scholarship that she already set up with Spark, which is an educational foundation for Prince William schools, when she retired 6 years ago. It's already benefited dozens of students who give cash grants to kids who are going to college. So this will be added to that. So pretty cool stuff.
That's a great story.
Great story.
Absolutely. Absolutely great story. Miss O.
Miss O.
Retired at 89. That's still an amazing statistic.
That's epic, dude. That is an epic career, man.
Yeah.
67 years.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Clemens, who pitched for 24 years, man.
Yeah.
He would have to pitch 3 more lifetimes like that. He'd have to have 3 more careers to catch up with her, pretty much.
I mean, yeah, that's amazing. She passed away. That's very sad she passed away, but to leave that 1 million, that's an amazing story. We hear so many about these teachers and these acts, these selfless acts that a lot of them do. It's really good to see that, teachers have sometimes the toughest job, in a lot of
Dude,
ways.
it's a very selfless profession,
Look,
man.
you're dealing with
It's
parents, you're dealing with kids. It's not easy. I mean, I got to be honest with you.
you're talking about generations, man. I mean, you
Yeah.
think about it. Okay, so in 67 years, she retired 6 years ago. So let's do
Right.
some math here. Okay, so she retired 6 years ago,
Yep.
and so in 2018 she retired. Thank God she didn't have to teach through the pandemic. So in 2018, she had taught for 67 years. Her first year of teaching was 1951.
Wow.
She dealt with boomers. She dealt with the hippie
Yeah.
generation,
Oh, cow.
Vietnam, Watergate, Mr. Gorbachev, this wall will come down. The Iran hostage,
Yep.
U.S. Embassy hostage situation, Star Wars, 1980s, Desert Storm, the Bill Clinton Monica Lewinsky scandal, 9/11, the assassination of Osama bin Laden.
Yep.
She taught in Virginia in 1951. You want to blow your mind, fucking Coop? Here we go.
Yeah.
In 1951, I don't know the history of Osborne High School, but I'm willing to bet black students were not allowed to attend Osborne High School
I
when
would
she
bet
started
that as
teaching.
well. I would bet that as well.
She was still teaching when this country, at a time, segregated black and white students. She saw the desegregation of schools, and she saw this country elect its first black president, all in one career.
And think about it, when she started, there wasn't even the computer.
The computer didn't exist,
Yep.
not in the way that we think of it.
Yep.
She saw the iPhone. She saw
Yep.
us land on the moon. She saw JFK assassinated.
Yep. Yeah.
She saw
a-
both Bushes president.
Yep. She started teaching before one of the presidents was even born.
Mm-hmm.
Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That's an amazing. Yeah, you think about that.
1951.
Yep.
That's a career, man. That's a life. That's a life.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Cool story.
Yep.
What's yours, Coop?
All right, this is unsolicited, by the way. But I wanted to mention the Smoking Tobacco Cigar Family Charitable fundraiser. So Matt does not know I've been doing this. He did not ask me to do this. I'm doing this on my own because I do believe in Cigar Family and all the great work that that charity does. And they're doing a fundraiser to raise money for that charity. And as people know, that's a charity administered by the Fuente and Newman families. They cover all the administrative costs. Any donations go right into Cigar Family, which it supports. Look, it supports people in the Dominican of educational, vocational training, clean water. I've been there. It's a very moving thing. And I want to mention that there's a really good fundraiser that Smoking Tobacco runs every year. They get a lot of great donations. If you go to smokingtobacco.com, I think on their sidebar they have a link that you can get into to it. Very simple. If you have a choice of either making getting a raffle ticket for prizes with a donation, or you can make a donation with no raffle ticket if you want. You just want to make a straight donation. But if you buy 10, if you donate $10, you get 10 entries. If you donate $25, you get 30 entries. $50 is 75 entries, and $100 you get 200 entries. So it's a pretty good deal. The prizes, let me just say, the prizes are really, really good this year. And the more donate, the more raffle tickets you get. They have a Fuente Padron Legends humidor. Doesn't have the cigars, but someone actually donated the actual humidor. There's an Opus X Purple Rain collection in there. And there is a box of the Tatuai NFTs in there as well as a ton of other Fuente samplers and all sorts of things. I donated a gift card in there as well. So I would just say, yeah, look, it's a great charity. Get in and enter. It's a charity would absolutely get behind because I've been there. I know the work that the Fuente and Newman families put into this. So definitely it's something, and like I said, you have a chance to get some pretty good prizes if that's something in the process if you want to do it. So check that out. Because I think, like I said, I really think Cigar Family Bear, and it's someplace I hopefully one day you will get to go there. Because I don't think I as much as I know you're charitable, I don't think you'll even be the same after coming out of there.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's a great
yeah, yeah, yeah,
organization. Shout out to Matt
yeah.
for
They
really and his team for doing this each and every year.
It's a lot of work. Yeah,
It's a lot of work. I give, charity's really important to me, Coop, as you know.
yeah,
And I really think it's important to recognize Matt for what he did. He was, when he started this, when him and Nicole started this charity
right.
run, like he didn't have any special connection to Carlito or to the
No,
foundation. Um, it was just something he wanted to do, man, and it blew up pretty
yeah,
stinking quick, man.
yeah.
He did a really good job. I don't think he's going to beat his record
They're
this
not gonna
year.
beat the. It's hard to beat that record. They had a couple of big donors that did that, by the way.
Hmm.
So I don't think I wouldn't I think I look at the amount of people supporting it's a lot, but they've raised like $6,800, but they there were a couple of like really big donations, and then some of those donations were matched. So keep that in mind. And you can't count on that every year, obviously. So and I think that was just gravy for them as far as they were looking at.
Yeah, for sure. But
Yeah, yeah.
hats
But yeah,
off to the
definitely,
tobacconists, man.
definitely check it out. There's another week to get in on it. Like I said, the prizes are great. The prizes are really, really good. So definitely check it out. You're gonna definitely uh you'll get a lot out of it. So like I said, you know, even if you're not interested in the prizes, the donation is great. Like I said, it's a good charity, and all the money goes right back into Cigar Family here. So that's what's really great about that. All right. So that was our great things are happening here segment. And I think when the cigar industry gets behind stuff, and a lot of companies donated things, but it's not just Fuente, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's really
So
great.
yeah. So let's get into our final topics here. But I first want to mention our friends at Michael's Tobacco. With just over a decade of ownership, Michael's Tobacco has become the premier tobacconist for the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area and cigar patrons the world over. With two convenient locations in Euless, just a quick jaunt from the DFW airport, and Keller, Texas, Michael's Tobacco stands as a beacon for the Texas cigar retailers. Michael's was the very first cigar lounge in the state of Texas to add a full bar to its list of ever-growing accommodations. Proprietor Mike Peacock is a former IPCR board member and now has made Michael's a family affair by having his son Bob join the ownership force. Together, they have brought a true and blessed mainstay for their respective communities. Whether you're celebrating an anniversary, birthday, hole in one, or just a desire to relax, Michael's Tobacco will have the perfect cigar waiting with an exquisite beverage pairing and lively conversation. Visit michaelstobacco.com for more details and a calendar of upcoming events. Michael's Tobacco, not just a cigar shop, but the perfect blend of Texas hospitality and the days of yore. So, Bear, I have a couple of timely things here. There's two things I wanted to talk about. Um,
Yeah, I was hoping what I could do could before you introduce the topics. I think it's important that we acknowledge both.
yeah.
I want to talk about the first one. I would like to acknowledge the second one, but I'd like to punt that in terms of deep discussion to our next show, if that's all right with you.
So
Because I think it's warranted.
why don't we do that? I think that's a great idea. I was thinking about that today. So what we'll do is we'll acknowledge it, but I think we should do like kind of what we did. Remember? Well, I'll get to it, but I agree. I think the second one we should mention, but punt on a deeper show, and I think that will be our next show we'll do.
Okay.
Because I think it fit. I think you're right. We're not going to do it justice at 12:20 either. So
Yeah.
so we'll mention it and then we'll set the table and that will be our next show when we have it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. The first one I want to talk about is there's a new alphabet soup organization here. It's called TPA. It's called Tobacco Products Association, and it's a new organization. In the spirit, I think, of the Boutique Cigar Association. Um, and I think there's some parallels with them. We'll get into that. And it was started primarily. This is what they're saying. It was started primarily because they wanted to bring the cigar and pipe communities together. And I think there's some merit to that. That I think, in fairness, the pipe community has had a less and less a voice in a lot of areas in recent years with all the things going on. So I think on paper it is a good thing to do. Um, on the surface, I had some questions on this, and I put in the notes: is this a potential split in the boutique movement here? Um, so Bear, let me kind of get into what I mean by that, and then we can have a discussion point. And this is not meant to pick on the boutique cigars. And by the way, I have some concerns with the approach TPA is taken that I'll mention tonight as well. Just based on some initial things I've seen. Not to say it's a bad idea, but so basically there were five entities that formed this new organization. It was formed by BAMF Cigars, the Great Cigar and Pipe Show, um, the Chief Cigars, Hiram and Solomon Cigars, and GTO Cigars. So most of those are boutique cigar companies. Uh, Ron Pecorini, who's with the Great Cigar and Pipe Show, he's kind of representing the pipe community because he runs the Chicagoland Pipe Show, and he saw a
Hmm.
need for this, right?
Okay.
But let's kind of just start with the beginning. Anytime there's a new association, I, I mean, I think the word alphabet soup comes to mind here, right?
Right.
And my question right out of the gate, I asked them when I got this information, I said, hey, why didn't you go to the BCA on this, right? It seemed like, why not go to Boutique Cigar Association and do this? And they said, no, there's room for another organization. And, but we're not here to poach the BCA. We're not excluding people, including, we just felt we needed to do it separately here. But I still wonder why form another organization because, especially if BCA's already got a framework, or even the PCA's got a framework, why not work within those? Was my initial question with this, and that's why I kind of phrase this: is this a potential? And I think this is like based on these companies, which are small companies. It seems like it's a little more fragmentation with the BCA. The other thing is, I mentioned those five companies. None of those cigar companies are really heavily into pipes. It's only the media guy who's into pipes. So to me,
Give
it
us
just
give us the companies again. List the companies again.
BAMF Cigars, uh, the Great Cigar and Pipe Show, GTO Cigars, Hiram and Solomon, which I say is the big one, and the fifth one's a brand called the Chief, which is a company actually called KJD Cigars. Now, several of these companies were BCA supporters too, big BCA supporters. I've seen their name all over it. I've seen, Great Cigar and Pipe Show always was promoting the BCA. Oscar Rodriguez, I know, had a booth in the BCA. I believe Herman Solomon was a BCA member. And I know that the Chief
Hmm.
Cigars, KJ was a BCA member. So my question, like, why? What might immediately? I'm like, well, they have. If you're part of an organization, why didn't that happen? And obviously, something for whatever reason they decided not to do that, or it was not made available to them. So that's why I kind of say it had to be some sort of a split, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, Coop, I think I look at this, and honestly, I think it's honestly it was kind of inevitable.
It,
Um, I think that, and Coop, you've commented on it for years.
right.
Um, did the BCA has now? It's ironic because in the last couple of years, in the last couple of recent years, it's actually gained a lot of more formal recognition. Its
I think
partnership with the PCA
I
has
agree.
been
I think they've
really
gotten,
great.
yeah. I think they grew up a lot the last couple of years. I really do.
Yeah, they kind of got their shit together.
Yeah.
Um, and but Coop, we've been talking about this for years, man. There the there's a real lack of direction. There's a real lack of of definition of what the BCA really accomplishes for those brands. And Coop, you're not the only one who said it. You're just the one who said it out loud, and you're the one who said it the loudest.
Right.
The members of those organizations, what are they going to do? I mean, GTO Cigars, is not going to. They're part of an organization. They're not going to speak poorly about it, right?
No, they're not. But they're like, I'm looking at them. They're on the membership roster.
Yeah. So,
So I see them on I'm looking at the website. They're a member of there.
well, again, I mean,
So is Hiram and Solomon. So is Great Cigar and Pipe Show.
but
Uh,
Coop, I mean, I mean, that's to our point. The BCA hasn't even updated their website yet. You
Well,
know,
but obviously they were members of this for a while.
correct. My point is that there's just been a, there's been a real, I think there's just been a real lack, and I think they finally just had enough of it. Like, what are they getting out of being members of the BCA? So they feel like that there was a need for this organization, and it was kind of inevitable.
Yeah.
Dr. Caffey has done, he's been the face, and for all that I've seen, again, this is just what I see.
Right.
So it's a little unfair, and I apologize for
Right.
that, but it's a little unfair. You can't rest. An organization can't rest on one person. It just can't.
No. No,
We
and wait a minute.
saw.
I learned this with the cigar. Why people ask me why aren't you part of the cigar media? And I'm going to get to that because there's some parallels that we hit with the media association. Why I pulled out.
Right. So,
Yeah.
well, when you lean on one person too much,
Yep.
there's the one of two things is going to happen, and they're usually both not good. Either that person ends up leaving, which is the second topic that we're going to talk about, or
Did they leave? I mean, they
the
never said they left, by the way, but I'm just saying they
or the
formed another
organization
organization. Yeah.
or the organization falls
Right.
apart. So, and they form their own organization. So,
Right.
I think this was inevitable. I find it ironic that it's now. I think that if you had said this 2 years ago, it would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Personally, but I think that's. I mean, anything that's pro industry, I'm gonna support. For the most part,
Right.
I'm gonna get behind. So, I mean, if they think that their organization, by organizing these companies, these 5 companies, by getting together and starting a new organization, is going to help their company, is going to be pro industry, is going to move their companies forward, is going to gain more problems, more power to them, man. But I hope the lessons that they learned of being a part of the BCA, that they figure it out. They do something with
Right.
it. Because if you're just going to form an organization just for the sake of forming an organization, because that's what BCA felt like for a lot of years. It just felt like, yeah, hey, boutique cigar SARs aren't getting the recognition and the representation they deserve. Okay,
Right.
that's a
Yeah.
Face value, black and white. That's a great mission statement. I don't disagree. And I think there's some merit to it. I think they historically could have handled and their business a lot better and had a lot better direction and things like that. But you can't lean on one person. You just can't for that long,
Yeah.
because again, if you lean on one person too, and this isn't a shot at Dr. Caffey, but like if I'm picking GTO cigars just out of the 5 just because
Right.
it's the last number you said. But obviously, by fragmenting themselves off, by being a part of this new organization, they obviously didn't agree with his leadership.
But he
One
wasn't even
reason or
technically the
another.
leader. There was another guy who was a leader.
Right.
Right.
Again, and that's part of the BCA's problem, right? You have a guy who's the face and the loudest voice in the room. He's one of the smartest people in the
But he's
room.
not right.
If not the smartest person in the room, he's the guy you want, right? He's the guy you want. I
Yep.
mean, if I'm the BCA, I want Dr. Caffey talking because he's
Yeah.
the smartest person in the room. He's been around the longest. Yeah, but he's not even the leader. Like you said, he's not even quote unquote the leader. But
Right.
he is the leader. But when you have one person now holding an organization up, man, and he's not even the leader,
Right.
that's a problem, man. I mean, that's just a problem. And I mean, I don't harbor any or any bad will towards the BCA. I don't think, I don't think that they're a bad organization or anything
No,
like that.
I have been I was very critical of them early on, but I think in the last couple of years, Bear, they tightened themselves up a bit. I think they did
right.
and that's why I think eventually PCA kind of when they started cleaning up their act, and I'll get into what my concerns were with that. When they started cleaning up the act and really structuring and started behaving like a trade association to some extent, that's when I think PCA, said, okay, let's work with you guys. And they work with the pavilion. I know some of those guys go down to Washington right now with the PCA. Um, but my issues with the BCA up front, there's two problems I've had with them. Number one is their communications were atrocious. Not when I say atrocious, they were shooting from the hip. They were issuing statements that were, and I saw stuff written, and I went back to them, and they said, yeah, it wasn't vetted through the board, blah blah blah. Like, well, it was like Wild West. And number
Yeah.
two, and this is a big problem, and I can tell you this from my experience with the Cigar Media Association when we had this, you cannot cross trade association with social group. You cannot do it. And you don't do it. I'm not saying you can't have a festival. I'm not saying, but don't create like this community idea is a bad idea because ultimately the association has to be the bad cop at some point. And then when you start trying to create a community, it's a bad idea because you're trying to make everybody happy with that. And
Yeah.
I saw this happening with the media association where the members were more interested in being in a social club than getting trade issues resolved. And that's when I said this is not going to work. And that's why I left and then the thing fell apart. Like no one really wanted to continue it because I was frustrated. I just did not want. Now, I see TPA making the same mistake with this. I got to be totally honest with you. Don't cross the lines here. Be a trade association. Don't be this like I saw they formed a Facebook group and I just rolled my eyes when I saw it. Don't do that. Form a Facebook page, crisp up your communications, talk about what you're going to accomplish, but don't create this
Yeah.
like community. It's a bad idea, guys. Trust me. I'm telling you, this is where the BCA had this problem for a long time, and this is a bad start for the TPA. And I think there's some merit. TPA, I think, could do some good things here, but I caution them going down that road.
Dude, the last fucking thing that the world needs is another Facebook group.
The last thing they need is a Facebook group. Um, the other, I know that BCA has their podcast. I was fine with them having a podcast. I think it's good that they have a voice out there. People can, but it was always, again, I always heard it from the same few people. It wasn't like I wanted to hear more from these other companies. I really didn't hear it. The pavilion.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the other thing. What I'll say is, and I want to be really sensitive on this. This year we heard some grumblings from the pavilion. Okay, from a couple of members that in confidence. I'm not going to say who they were. They were unhappy with the way the pavilion went this year. But it wasn't any of the five who formed this. I'll tell you that. So I know that there was some unhappiness coming out of this year's trade show. They had a bad location this year. Bottom line, they had a terrible location this year, and it hurt them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was a bad concept or anything like that. Nothing like that. But they had the year before they had a very good location. They were right next to Altadis, and they were right next to the center of the trade show. They had a great look, but this year they didn't have that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't say whether what the traffic or the activity was there because we didn't cover that. Again, we just didn't have enough time to do that. But I did hear. I'm telling you, two people came to me who were at the pavilion and were unhappy.
Yeah, I think like I said, there's an age old expression that I think is very applicable
Yeah.
when it comes to BCA,
Yeah,
and it's good intentions.
it's
Right?
good intentions, and the TPA, I see the
Road to
same
hell,
road. It's
man.
good intentions, but yeah,
Road to hell, man. It's
yeah.
paved with good intentions. Like
And
it
maybe
comes
they
to a
tried.
point
Maybe
too.
they tried and it just didn't work, and they felt they had to form something else. It may not be. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that does happen.
Well, I mean, we saw fragmenting too. I mean, it wasn't nearly as severe, but for a while, well, actually, I would say, for a while you had the big four, and then you had select companies choose TPE over PCA.
Yeah, they
And
did. And you know what's funny about that? Most of the companies that did that, I could see one company that had the success with it. There's only one company that had success with it, and it was Altadis. They put a lot into it, and they had some good TPEs. They did. I know Villiger tried the bolt, and it didn't work out the way they wanted. Drew Estate, I'll say Drew Estate had it too. I think it's unfair. Drew Estate had it pretty good too.
yeah,
But for the most part, I don't think it really worked out for General Davidoff at all when they were doing it.
hmm
But Villiger, I know, Villiger was actually the first company to say they weren't going back to the PCA or IPCVR, and they went,
great.
they went, they went, and remember they did a big sponsorship one year of TP. That's the year I went, and then the following year they were back. They were back at PCA. So obviously it didn't work out the way they thought it was going to work out.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
I
one
wish the
way or another, I
organization's
hope.
the best. I hope
Correct.
everyone could succeed. And like I said, I've been much more impressed with some of the things the BCA's been doing lately. So I want to be very fair to them as well. I'm not trying to pick on them here, but I think they would acknowledge they made some mistakes early on too.
Yeah, I would hope so.
And I wish TPA the best, but I just advise them don't cross those swords, please. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, it's not gonna end well for
It's
sure.
not going to end well. It's just you're going to create a situation where it's going to be harder to be bad cop when organizations sometimes have to be the bad cop. They have to make decisions sometimes that don't make everybody happy.
Agreed.
Yeah. But they were very nice, the TPA guys. And again, but I can't help but go back and say something just didn't click here. Why they didn't do it? Now the question is, does the TPA go to the PCA and say, we want a pavilion too? So, I mean, that's going to be another interesting thing to watch. So I don't know how they're going to handle it. I didn't ask them that question, by the way, but I'm sure we'll find out more.
Indeed.
Yep. Okay. Let's close out with, I guess, what's going to be our next show.
Hmm.
Uh, and what I put in the notes, and then Bear, I think I started thinking about this too. We really need to kind of Scott Pierce, of course, has left the PCA. Actually, its official last day is Friday. He has become the new president of the Cigar Association of America. Um, and what I'm going to say, but we're going to do a deep dive into this, like you said, but I can honestly say that the PCA is a better organization today than when he came in 2008.
1,000%.
And we can go through a lot of the history, and it was not an easy start for him. So I'm happy. I wish him the best. Josh Habersky is the interim director right now, or the interim executive director. We'll get into more of that, but um, Barry, we talked about this, and my first reaction was I was happy about it because it gave me an in with the CAA. So which I've been really struggling to get get in with for a few years. So, and in fact, when he took over, I actually got a press release from both PCA and the CAA, which was a good sign. I never got paid a press. I've been asking for press releases for the CAA for about 6 or 7 years. So the fact I got one unsolicited was a good sign.
Yeah, I think that to your point, Coop, I think the organization is obviously a better one
Yep.
today than it is when he started. I
Yep.
think you've said it before. I'll say it again. I think he is the most successful executive director of the PCA
By
slash
far,
IPCA.
by far, not
Um,
perfect, not perfect either.
no, no, not at all. But um, major wins, major wins
I
under
mean,
his leadership. So
major wins, and just like I said, execution was very good. Transparent. I mean, a lot of we're gonna get into. So we're gonna do. I think we're gonna review the Scott Pierce era, kind of what we did with Hans Christian Hosgar when he left Davidoff. We looked at how when he left Davidoff, we said Davidoff was a better place than when he came in. I think we'll look at this as well, and see what this is gonna hold with the future. So I think we do a show on that one, and we can kind of recap a little of the history of that.
I agree.
Yeah. So that will be our next show, and we'll get a date for you guys on that. Anything else before we close out?
No, Coop. I think it was a great show, man. The concept really hit home. I had a lot of fun. I hope everyone at home enjoyed it too. So
No, I appreciate it. And Bear, thank you for the 7 years. Um, I just saw a comment here. I can't get this. Rolling up my opus. But I got distracted. I usually that's why I don't read comments sometimes because I get distracted. No offense to anybody, but no. So yeah. First of all, yeah, yeah, again. Thank you, Bear, for this time here. We've done this. Um, it's been like I said, really special. And like I said, we have some other shows planned coming up. I think we're gonna be back to more of a regular schedule in June. So stay tuned for that. And of course, thank you to our audience. Thank you to our sponsors here. our strategic partners, a lot of them, not necessarily sponsors, but have really supported us. The audience, I mean, there's a lot of audience people who've been with us from day one, new audience people. We appreciate you guys. It's not taken for granted. So definitely get in as far as that goes. The Also we have, I think I mentioned, we have the contest going on that will be up tomorrow. Next week starts the Battle of the Bands competition as well. So that's our music breakdown. We're doing 1970s albums. So we had a draft on that actually yesterday. Was the draft show. Hector had the first pick again, but I think we have Hector's won it 2 years in a row. I think we have a shot to beat Hector this year. I think
There you
this could
go.
be.
Let's
I
go.
think Hector may have made. We'll see what happens with that. Uh, but yeah, I want to again thank everybody for being a part of this as well. Look forward to the next 7 years and many more. As far as that goes.
You're here.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you. One last programming note on Thursday. We have primetime episode 305. We have a guy. I know Bear, you love this guy. I know you had him on El Oso, but we're gonna have him on primetime. John Hackam of STG.
Oh, nice.
Really good
Fantastic.
guy. He's been wanting to come on the show for a while. We have that schedule with him on Thursday. So
He's a great interview.
he's
Love
he's
John.
great. Yeah, yeah. I know you interviewed him, and he's been wanting to come on the show, and we talked at the trade show, and we got him booked, so he's set for that. I don't know if there is a I don't know if Let's Get Pairing is scheduled their show if they're doing one this week or not, but stay tuned for that. You have an LOSO on Sunday, right?
I do. Aaron Michaelis of
Yes.
Flint Knoll
Yeah.
and STG will be on my show. So yeah.
We've had him on KMA. Which is he's a great interview, and you've met him at the trade show. He's fantastic. So exciting stuff happening there.
Agreed.
And that's about it. All right. So that's gonna wrap up Primetime Special Edition 159 into the annals of history for this Tuesday, May 21st. Now May 22nd on the Eastern Time Zone. We'll catch everybody next time. Take care, everybody.
We'll see you next time.